The sages of old whispered a secret through the ages, a truth so simple yet so profound that it has been hidden in plain sight. They said that you do not attract what you want, but you attract what you are. Your reality, the world you experience with your senses, is not a solid, immovable thing. It is a mirror, a perfect, flawless mirror reflecting the state of your inner world. Everything you see, everyone you meet, every circumstance you face is an echo of a conversation you are having within yourself. So, what if you could change that inner conversation? What if, for a sacred cycle of 21 days, you decided to become the master of your inner realm, not through force, not through struggle, but through a gentle, persistent turning of your attention, 21 days. A period long enough for the moon to complete its cycle, long enough for the mind to carve new pathways, long enough for the soul to rewrite its own contract with reality. This is not a challenge of willpower. It is an invitation to grace. We speak of miracles. We look for them in the sky, in the hands of others, in some future moment of divine intervention. But the greatest miracle is the one that happens within. It is the quiet awakening to the power that has been dormant inside of you all along, the power to create, the realization that you are not a victim of your world. You are its silent architect. The miracle is not something that will be given to you. It is something that will be unveiled from within you. The journey we are about to embark upon is not about learning a new set of tricks. It is about unbecoming everything you thought you were, so you can become who you were always meant to be. For the next 21 days, you are being asked to do one thing, not a dozen, not 100, just one. To withdraw your energy from the world, that is, and to place it lovingly upon the world you wish to be. This is a journey into stillness, into the heart of creation. It is a pilgrimage back to your true self. The door is before you. There is no need to knock. It has always been unlocked. Simply take a breath and let us step inside. The journey does not begin with a great leap forward. It does not begin with a flurry of activity, a list of resolutions, or a vow to conquer the world. That is the way of the frantic mind. The ego that believes its worth is measured in motion. Our journey, this sacred transformation, begins with the opposite. It begins with a full stop. It begins with the radical, courageous act of doing nothing at all. It begins in stillness. Stillness before the storm of creation. Before the gentle rain of miracles can fall, the ground must first be silent. Today, the only task is to cease. To cease the endless striving, the constant running from a past you cannot change and towards a future you cannot control. To simply be. This is the first, most powerful step. Consider the noise that has become the background music of your life. The endless scroll of curated perfection. The chime of notifications demanding your attention. The cacophony of opinions and expectations from a world that never sleeps. Your mind has been trained to chase these distractions, to feed on them, to believe that this constant input is the same as being alive. It has become a hungry ghost, forever consuming but never nourished. You wake up and your mind is already racing, planning the day, replaying yesterday's regrets, rehearsing tomorrow's anxieties. You move through your hours with a divided heart, one part performing the tasks at hand, the other lost in a labyrinth of mental chatter. You believe you are thinking, but you are not. You are being thought. You are a vessel for a storm of collective anxiety, a storm of cultural programming, a storm of inherited fears. The storm is not you, but it rages within your walls, and you have forgotten the feeling of a quiet house. You have forgotten the profound peace of your own silent presence. The world tells you that to be still is to be lazy, to be unproductive, to fall behind. It is a lie. It is the most clever lie ever told, for it keeps you a prisoner of the external, forever seeking validation from the very forces that drain your lifeblood. The stillness we speak of is not laziness. It is rebellion. It is a quiet revolution against the tyranny of noise. It is the reclaiming of your own sovereign space. Imagine your mind as a beautiful, intricate snow globe. Inside is a serene landscape, a peaceful cottage, a silent forest, a pristine, untouched world that is your true essence. But for years, perhaps a lifetime, this globe has been shaken. Every fear, every worry, every angry word, every moment of self-doubt is a violent shake. The water becomes cloudy, a blizzard of white flakes obscuring everything. You look at your inner world and see only chaos, a swirling vortex of confusion. You try to make sense of it, to grasp the individual flakes of thought, to control the storm. But the more you focus on the chaos, the more you engage with it, the more you keep the globe in motion. You are trying to find peace by analyzing the storm. It is an impossible task. Now, on this first day, you are invited to do something profoundly simple. You are invited to set the snow globe down. Gently, place it on a steady surface. Take your hands off it, and watch. At first, the storm rages on from its own momentum. The flakes of thought, worry, and planning still swirl. Do not fight them. Do not wish them away. Your only job is to not shake the globe again. Your only job is to sit and to watch with gentle curiosity. Observe the blizzard. See how the largest, heaviest flakes, the deep-seated fears, the urgent anxieties begin to slow down first. They drift, they float, and then, one by one, they begin to settle on the ground. Then the smaller flakes, the fleeting thoughts, the daily annoyances, they too start their graceful descent. The water begins to clear, a little at first, then more. Glimmers of the landscape within start to appear. You might see the roof of the cottage, the silhouette of a tree. The process is slow. It requires patience. The temptation to pick up the globe and shake it again will be immense, because the storm is familiar. For many, chaos feels more comfortable than peace, but you must resist. This is your only practice today, to let the flakes settle, to allow the water to become clear. For in that clarity, you will see your true home for the first time. You will see the serene, silent, powerful landscape that has been there all along, waiting patiently beneath the manufactured storm. That stillness is your natural state. The peace you seek is not something you must build, it is something you must uncover. Think of your soul as a plot of land, a field. For years, you have been a frantic farmer. You have forced the land to yield the same crops, year after year. The crops of worry, the crops of striving, the crops of not enough. You have plowed the same furrows of negative thought patterns so deep that they have become canyons. The soil is depleted. It is tired. It yields only bitter fruit because it has never been allowed to rest. A wise farmer knows that a field must sometimes lie fallow. It must be left alone. It must be allowed to rest under the sun and the moon, to be nourished by the rain, to let the deep, unseen life within the soil regenerate itself. This fallow period looks unproductive to the ignorant eye. It looks like a wasteland, an empty space. But the wise farmer knows this is the most productive time of all. This is when the soil heals. This is when fertility returns. This is when the potential for a new, vibrant harvest is born. Your stillness is this fallow season for the soul. By ceasing the relentless plowing of anxious thoughts, you are giving your inner ground a chance to heal. You are allowing the depleted soil of your consciousness to be replenished. It may feel strange. It may feel empty. You may be tempted to grab your plow and start digging the familiar furrows of worry, just to feel like you are doing something. But your task is to trust the wisdom of the fallow season. Trust that in this seeming emptiness, a profound restoration is taking place. You are not empty. You are gathering strength. You are not wasting time. You are preparing the ground for miracles. The seeds of your desires, the seeds of the new you, cannot be planted in exhausted, depleted soil. They require a rich, fertile, rested ground. Today, you create that ground by simply letting it be. You honor your inner field by giving it the gift of peace. So, how does one practice this stillness? Do not turn it into another task on your to-do list. Do not try to be still. Simply allow stillness to find you. It may be for 5 minutes in the morning, before the world rushes in. Instead of reaching for your phone, reach for the silence. Sit on your bed and just breathe. Feel the air enter your body and leave your body. Your mind will wander. It will start to shake the globe. When it does, just notice it and gently, without judgment, return your attention to your breath. Set the globe down again. It may be during a break in your day. Instead of filling the space with noise, look out a window. Truly see the sky. Watch a leaf dancing in the wind. Do not name it. Do not analyze it. Just perceive it. Let your seeing be a form of stillness. Allow the world to present itself to you, without the filter of your commentary. Let go of the need to understand it all. Let go of the need to do it perfectly. There is no perfect way to be still. There is only the intention to return to it, again and again. You are not failing when your mind wanders. You are succeeding every time you gently guide it back. That is the practice, the return. The gentle, compassionate act of setting the snow globe down over and over until it becomes your new habit. As you sit in these moments of quiet, as the flakes of your mind begin to settle, a new perception will dawn. Through the clearing water, you will start to see the patterns that were previously hidden by the chaos. You will see the shape of your own cages, the unconscious beliefs that have governed your life. You will see the roots of your reactions. This is not a time for judgment. It is a time for simple, clear-eyed seeing. Stillness is not the end goal. It is the doorway. It is the sacred space in which true awareness is born. And from that awareness, a new world can be built. You have now stepped through the doorway. You have honored the silence. The ground is prepared. Now, we can begin to see who the architect truly is. From the profound silence you have cultivated, something becomes clear. In the settled quiet of the snow globe, in the fertile stillness of the fallow field, you begin to perceive the constant, unceasing hum of your own mind. A stream of thoughts, images, fragments of conversation, and judgments flows relentlessly. For your entire life, you have been standing in the middle of this river, tossed and turned by its currents, believing that you are the river. This is the great illusion, the fundamental hypnosis that keeps humanity in bondage. You have mistaken the instrument for the musician, the tool for the user, the thoughts for the thinker. The second great truth of this journey is this: you are not your mind. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. You are the architect of your inner world, and the first act of any great architect is to survey the site and distinguish the building materials from the builder. Let us first understand the nature of this instrument, this thinking mind. It is a biological survival mechanism, a magnificent and ancient computer forged over millennia of evolution. Its prime directive is not to make you happy, it is to keep you safe. Its job is to scan the past for threats and project them into the future to avoid them. It is a pattern-matching machine. It chews on problems. It thrives on what is wrong, what is missing, what could be dangerous. This is why it so easily defaults to negativity, to worry, to criticism. It is not a personal flaw in you. It is a feature of the software. This voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough, the one that replays embarrassing moments from a decade ago, the one that catastrophizes about the future, it is not your true voice. It is an echo. It is a pre-recorded program running on a loop. It is a ghost in the machine, a loyal but deeply neurotic servant that has been mistakenly promoted to the role of master. You have given this servant the keys to your kingdom, allowing its fearful whispers to dictate the entire emotional weather of your life. To reclaim your power, you do not need to destroy this servant. You must simply, gently, demote it. You must lovingly return it to its rightful place as a tool, and you, the silent, aware presence, must take your seat upon the throne. You are the architect, and the chattering mind is merely one of your many consultants, and a notoriously anxious one at that. Imagine you are seated in a vast, dark movie theater. The chair is plush and comfortable. You are the only one here. Before you is a single colossal screen that dominates your entire field of vision. This screen is your mind's attention. The projector behind you is the thinking mechanism, and it is always running. For your whole life, you have been utterly captivated by the film on the screen. When a horror movie plays a film of future anxiety, of what if this terrible thing happens, your heart pounds, your palms sweat, your body tenses in fear. You have forgotten you are in a theater. You believe you are in the haunted house, running from the monster. The film feels completely real. Then, the projector switches reels. Now, a tragedy begins to play, a film of past regret, of a love lost, a mistake made, a word you wish you could take back. Tears stream down your face. A heavy weight settles in your chest. You are lost in the sorrow of the characters, because you believe you are the character. The story on the screen is your story. The day continues, and so do the films. A frustrating drama about your job, a repetitive comedy about your family's annoying habits, a short, violent action film about your anger in traffic. You are so absorbed, so identified with these moving images and sounds that the line between the film and the filmgoer has vanished. The moment of awakening, the practice for this second stage of our journey, is the moment you remember where you are. It might happen in the middle of a terrifying scene. Suddenly, a flicker of awareness arises. You become conscious of your own breathing. You feel the texture of the velvet armrest beneath your hand. You hear the faint, steady whirring of the projector from behind you. In that split second, the spell is broken. You lean back in your seat, and a profound realization washes over you. I am not on the screen. I am here. I am the one who is watching. This is it. This is the great discovery. You are not the film. You are not the drama, the horror, or the tragedy. You are the silent, steady, unmoving presence in the chair. You are the awareness in which the entire film unfolds. From this new vantage point, everything changes. The fear from the horror movie is still there, but now you experience it as energy in your body, as sensations on a screen, rather than as an imminent threat to your existence. The sadness from the tragedy is still felt, but you can now observe it as a beautiful, poignant story without being completely drowned by it. You have created a space between you and your experience. In this space lies all your freedom and all your power. Because once you know you are the watcher, you realize something even more profound. You don't have to keep watching this particular film. You don't have to buy a ticket to every drama your mind produces. You can let the film play without giving it your complete belief. And eventually, you come to the most empowering realization of all. You are not just the audience. You are the owner of the theater. You are the producer. You are the one who, on some deeper level, has been commissioning these films all along based on your deepest beliefs. You are the architect. So, who is this architect? Who is this silent watcher? It is not a thing. It has no form, no name, no history. It is the formless consciousness that was there before your first thought and will be there after your last. Think of the sky. The sky is the home for every kind of weather imaginable. There are fluffy white clouds, dark and angry storm clouds, gentle mists, brilliant sunsets. The clouds are your thoughts and emotions. They are constantly changing, moving, appearing and disappearing. But the sky itself is never affected. A storm cloud does not stain the sky. A lightning bolt does not scar it. The sky simply provides the space for all weather to happen. It is impartial, vast, and eternally peaceful. You are the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. You have spent your life identifying with a particularly stubborn storm cloud, believing you are the storm. Your task now is to remember the vast, open blue sky of your own being. The practice of becoming the architect is the practice of disidentification. It is elegantly simple. When a thought arises, especially a powerful, emotionally charged one, you simply notice it. You label it silently in your own awareness. For instance, the thought, "I will never be successful," appears. Instead of being swept away by it, you take a step back into your theater seat and you observe it. You say to yourself, "Ah, there is the thought that I will never be successful." Or simply, thinking. Can you see the subtle but immense shift? "I am a failure" is an identity. "I am having the thought that I am a failure" is an observation. In that observation, you are free. You are not fighting the thought. You are not arguing with it. You are not trying to replace it with a positive one. You are simply letting it be what it is, a transient event in your consciousness, a cloud passing through your sky, a scene playing on the screen. You are the architect, calmly observing the blueprints of your old conditioning before you decide to draw up new ones. As you practice this, you become the master of your inner home. You see the ghosts of old beliefs, the neurotic servant of the mind, the dramatic films of the ego for what they are. You see them with clarity, perhaps even with a sense of humor and compassion. You are no longer their prisoner. You are the calm, centered awareness that allows them to be, without being defined by them. You have reclaimed your seat as the observer. You now know that you are the architect, but you will also notice that some of these films, some of these old patterns, are incredibly magnetic. They have a powerful gravity, pulling you out of your seat and back onto the screen time and time again. Recognizing that you are the watcher is the first step. The next is learning how to gracefully decline the invitation to get lost in the drama. This is the gentle art of releasing. You are now seated in the quiet theater of your own awareness. You have taken your place as the observer, the silent architect of your inner world. From this seat, you see the old films begin to play on the screen of your mind, the familiar stories of lack, of fear, of resentment, of who you used to be. A powerful impulse arises, the impulse to fight, the impulse to tear the screen down, to destroy the projector, to banish these ghosts from your kingdom forever. This is the warrior's response, the ego's way. It believes that freedom is won through battle, that peace is the spoils of war. But here, in the subtle realm of consciousness, this approach only strengthens the enemy. To fight a thought is to give it your energy. To resist a feeling is to anchor it more deeply into your body. The attempt to force yourself to let go is a paradox, for the very effort of trying is the opposite of release. It is a clenching, not an opening. Today, we learn a more graceful way. We learn the gentle art of releasing, which is not an act of doing, but an act of seeing. It is the realization that you don't need to break the chains. You only need to see that you are the one holding the key. First, we must become exquisitely aware of the price we pay for holding on. Every resentment you carry, every past hurt you keep alive by replaying it, every limiting belief about yourself that you defend it, is a stone you have placed in a backpack that you never take off. You carry it with you into the shower, to your dinner table, into your bed at night. You have carried these stones for so long that you have forgotten the feeling of weightlessness, the constant, low-grade tension in your shoulders, the shallow breathing, the subtle clenching in your jaw. This is the physical manifestation of the energy it takes to hold on. Your life force, the vibrant, creative energy that is your birthright, is being diverted. It is being used not to create the new, but to endlessly maintain the old. It is the energy of a prisoner diligently polishing the bars of their own cell. Imagine you are holding a burning piece of coal in your hand. It sears your flesh. It causes you immense pain. The person who gave you the coal, or the situation that created it, is long gone. They are not feeling the heat. They are not being burned. Only you are. Holding on to anger, grudges, or self-criticism is exactly this. It is the act of continuously burning yourself with a fire that should have gone out long ago, believing that somehow this pain serves a purpose, that it honors your suffering or punishes the offender. But it does neither. It only consumes you. Releasing is not about condoning the action that created the coal. It is not about saying what happened was okay. It is about realizing that your hand is burning and that you have the power to simply open it and let the coal drop. It is a radical act of self-preservation. It is the moment you decide that your own peace is more important than being right, that your own freedom is more valuable than your attachment to a story of suffering. The pain of holding on must become greater than the fear of letting go. Let us explore this through another lens. Imagine you are at the beach and you scoop up a large handful of fine, white sand. This sand represents something you are desperately attached to, old identity, a relationship that has ended, a specific outcome you demand from life. You want to keep it, all of it. So you make a fist, clenching your muscles, squeezing with all your might to prevent a single grain from escaping. What happens? The tighter you squeeze, the faster the sand streams out through the gaps between your fingers. Your desperate attempt to control, to possess, is the very action that causes you to lose what you want to keep. This is the paradox of attachment. The energy of grasping, of forcing, of needing, repels the very thing it seeks. Your tension creates the cracks through which your peace escapes. Now, consider the alternative. What if, instead of clenching, you were to simply open your hand? Slowly, deliberately unfurl your fingers. Release the tension in your palm, in your wrist, in your forearm. You present your open palm to the sky. The sand now rests there, peacefully. Some of it may be blown away by a gentle breeze, and that is okay. Some of it may remain. You are no longer concerned with possessing it. Your focus has shifted from the sand to the feeling of the open hand, the feeling of release, the feeling of freedom from the strain of clenching. This is the essence of letting go. It is the shift from a closed fist of resistance to an open palm of allowance. You are not pushing the feeling or the memory away. You are simply withdrawing the energy of resistance from it. You are creating a space for it to be, and in doing so, you give it the space to leave. The open hand is a posture of trust. It is a declaration to the universe that you no longer need to control everything, that you are willing to receive what is meant for you and release what is not. The true mechanism of release, then, is radical allowance. It is the practice of meeting your inner experience with a courageous and compassionate yes. When a painful emotion arises, the familiar ache of loneliness, the hot flush of anger, the cold dread of fear, the old habit is to immediately distract, numb, or suppress. You pick up your phone, you pour a drink, you start an argument, you do anything to avoid feeling the raw energy of the emotion. The new way, the way of the open hand, is to do the opposite. You stop, you breathe, and you invite the feeling in. You allow it to be there, in your body, without a story. This is crucial. Detach the feeling from the mental narrative that usually accompanies it. Just for a moment, let go of who did what and why this is unfair, and simply feel the raw sensation. Where is the anger in your body? Is it a tightness in your chest, a heat in your face, a vibration in your hands? Be a neutral scientist of your inner world. Observe the sensation with curiosity. Breathe into it. By doing this, you are not feeding the emotion with the fuel of your reactive thoughts. You are simply allowing its energy to move through you and complete its cycle. You are holding the space for it to burn itself out, like a fire that is given no more wood. What you cease to resist ceases to persist. By allowing it to be, you allow it to pass. When you practice this, when you finally drop the hot coal and open the fist of sand, a new phenomenon occurs. A space is created, a void. The heavy, dense energy of the old pattern has dissolved, leaving behind a vacuum. This is the sacred emptiness. For a moment, it may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. You are so used to the weight of your burdens that freedom can feel unnerving. The silence can feel louder than the noise. It is in this moment that you are at a powerful choice point. The universe abhors a vacuum, and something will rush in to fill that space. If you are unconscious, if you fall back into old habits of mind, the very patterns you just released will seep back in to occupy the newly available real estate. They are familiar tenants. The door is ajar. Therefore, the art of releasing is a two-part process. It is the exhale of letting go, followed by the conscious inhale of the new. You have cleared the soil of the old, toxic weeds. Now you must be deliberate about what seeds you plant in their place. You cannot leave the field of your mind empty. You must choose what you wish to cultivate in this new sacred space you have created for yourself. This act of conscious creation requires a new language the language of words, but the language of energy. You must learn to fill the space not with effort, but with a new resonance, a new song. You must learn to tune your being to the frequency of what you wish to attract. This is the next step on our journey, to move from the silence of release into the beautiful resonant music of creation. You have created the space. Now, let us learn about the symphony of vibration. You have done the courageous work. You have sat in the stillness. You have claimed your seat as the architect, and you have gently opened your hand, releasing the burning coals of the past. You now stand in a sacred, open space, a void of pure potential. This emptiness is the fertile ground from which all creation springs. But what is this ground made of? What is the fundamental substance of reality that you, the architect, will now shape? The ancient mystics and the quantum physicists are beginning to speak the same language, to whisper the same truth across the centuries. The truth is this: there are no solid things. The universe is not a collection of static objects. Beneath the illusion of separation and solidity, the entire cosmos, including you, is one vast, indivisible field of vibrating energy. The world is not a noun. It is a verb. It is a dance. It is a song. And today you will learn to hear the music. You will awaken to the symphony of vibration. Everything you perceive as solid is an illusion, a trick of the senses. Your chair, the floor beneath you, your very own body, if you were to look at them through a sufficiently powerful microscope, you would see no solid matter. You would see atoms, and within those atoms, you would see subatomic particles that are not things at all, but shimmering, probabilistic clouds of energy. And between these particles, vast emptiness. What holds it all together? What gives the chair the appearance of being a chair, and a tree the appearance of being a tree? Vibration. Everything in existence is energy vibrating at a specific and unique frequency. The slow, dense vibration of a rock is different from the faster vibration of water, which is different from the even faster vibration of light, which is different from the impossibly high frequency of thought. It is all the same universal energy, simply expressing itself at different octaves, playing different notes in the grand cosmic orchestra. You are not a solid body navigating a solid world. You are a field of energy, a vibrational being, interacting with a larger, dynamic field of energy. You are a chord resonating within a symphony. And the note you are playing, the frequency you are emitting, is the single most important factor in the life you experience. To make this tangible, imagine that you are a living broadcasting tower. Your being is a powerful radio transmitter, sending a signal out into the universe, 24 hours a day. This signal is a complex wave composed of your thoughts, your beliefs, your words, and most importantly, your emotions. Your emotional state is the primary carrier wave. It is the powerful current that gives your broadcast its strength and its frequency. You cannot send out a weak, staticky signal of fear and expect to receive a clear, beautiful broadcast of joy. The universe is not punishing or rewarding you. It is simply a perfect matching system. It is the law of resonance. Like a cosmic radio, it can only tune into the frequency you are transmitting. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. It reflects your own song back to you. For years, you may have been unknowingly broadcasting on a low-frequency station. Let us call it Worry FM. The playlist on this station is composed of thoughts of lack, anxiety about the future, and replays of past pains. The feeling tone is heavy, contracted, fearful. When you broadcast on this frequency, the universe, obeying its own immaculate laws, can only deliver to you circumstances, people, and events that resonate with worry. You receive more bills you can't pay, more reasons to be anxious, more situations that confirm your belief that the world is a scary and difficult place. You are getting a perfect match to your signal. Or perhaps you broadcast on resentment radio, a station fueled by anger, blame, and a sense of injustice. The universe then delivers more people who betray you, more situations that feel unfair, more reasons to be angry. The music of your life seems harsh and dissonant, and you don't understand why you can't find a more beautiful song. Herein lies the secret. To change the music of your life, you do not shout at the radio. You do not beg the universe to play a different song. You must change the station you are broadcasting from. You, the architect, must walk over to the control panel of your own being and deliberately, consciously, turn the dial. This is an inside job. No one can turn the dial for you. You must choose to broadcast on a new frequency. Imagine tuning into Abundance FM. The thoughts here are of sufficiency, of gratitude, of opportunity. The feeling tone is expansive, open, peaceful. Or tuning into Love Radio, where the broadcast is one of compassion, connection, and acceptance. When you change your signal, the reflection must change. It is law. The universe will begin to orchestrate a new reality around you, one that matches the new song you are singing. Opportunities will appear. The right people will show up. Solutions will emerge. This is not magic. It is physics. It is the physics of consciousness. So how do you know what station you are on at any given moment? Your emotional guidance system. Your feelings are the exquisitely sensitive needle on the dial of your vibrational transmitter. They are not random, they are not a nuisance, and they are certainly not your enemy. They are pure information. They are your direct, real-time feedback on the frequency you are emitting. When you feel emotions like fear, anger, guilt, shame, or despair, these are not bad emotions. They are simply indicators that you are currently vibrating at a low frequency, a frequency that is out of alignment with your true self and the reality you wish to create. A negative emotion is simply a vibrational alarm bell, telling you that your point of attraction is focused on something that you do not want. It is a loving message from your inner being saying, "The thought you are thinking right now is taking you in the opposite direction of your desires. Please, choose a different one." Conversely, when you feel emotions like joy, love, excitement, peace, passion, or appreciation, you have direct confirmation that you are vibrating at a high frequency. You are in alignment. You are a vibrational match to all the good things you desire. In these moments, you are broadcasting a clear, powerful signal that tells the universe, "More of this, please." Therefore, the most spiritual, most practical, and most creative work you can possibly do is to make feeling good your absolute priority. This is not selfishness. It is not hedonism. It is the fundamental mechanics of creation. Your job is to find ways, moment by moment, to turn the dial of your consciousness towards the next best feeling. It is your primary responsibility as the architect of your life. This does not mean pasting a fake smile over your despair. The universe is a master of energetics. It is not fooled by superficial affirmations that you don't believe. It responds to your authentic, dominant vibration. If you are feeling deep grief, you cannot leap to ecstatic joy in a single bound. The vibrational gap is too wide. That would be toxic positivity, and it is a form of resistance, a denial of where you truly are. The art lies in gently reaching for the next best feeling available to you right now. If you are in despair, perhaps you can reach for anger, which is a slightly higher vibration because it has more energy. If you are in anger, perhaps you can reach for blame. If you are in blame, perhaps you can reach for frustration. If you are in frustration, perhaps you can reach for hope. And from hope, you can reach for optimism. And from optimism, you can find your way to joy. It is a process of gently, lovingly, guiding yourself up the emotional scale, one thought at a time. It is about being kind to yourself, about honoring where you are, while gently reaching for a better feeling thought. You have cleared the space within you. You now understand that this space is not empty, but is filled with the vibrating potential of your own energy. You know that your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to consciously manage the frequency of that energy. The question then becomes, what is the master key? What is the fastest and most effective way to turn the dial from a frequency of lack to a frequency of abundance? What is the one practice that can instantly shift your entire being into a state of high vibration, available to you at any moment, in any circumstance, regardless of your external conditions? It is a state of being so powerful that the universe bends to its will. It is the frequency that unlocks the coffers of creation. It is the currency of gratitude. You stand now at the control panel of your being, your hand upon the dial of your own frequency. You understand that your emotional state is your broadcast, and that the universe is a flawless mirror, reflecting your own song back to you. We have named gratitude as the master key, the most direct path to turning that dial from the static of lack to the clear, beautiful music of abundance. But the gratitude we speak of is not the polite, hollow phrase you have been taught to recite. It is not a social nicety. It is a state of consciousness. It is a force of nature. True gratitude is not the thank you you say after you receive a gift. It is the vibrational state that makes you a magnet for gifts in the first place. It is the feeling of wealth before the money arrives, the feeling of love before the partner appears, the feeling of peace before the conflict resolves. It is the end of the search. Felt now. Most of humanity lives in a state of perpetual seeking, a state of what's next. They live in a mindset of anticipatory gratitude. I will be grateful when I get the promotion. I will be happy when I lose the weight. I will feel at peace when I finally go on vacation. This entire way of being, while seemingly normal, is a powerful broadcast of lack to the universe. Each of those sentences, behind the veil of desire, carries the dominant, unspoken vibration. I do not have it now. I am not enough now. My life is incomplete now. And the universe, in its infinite and impersonal wisdom, simply says yes and gives you more of the experience of not having. It matches the feeling, not the wish. You are trying to bargain with reality, telling it that you will offer up the feeling of gratitude as payment only after it has delivered the goods. But the universe operates on a different economy. In the economy of consciousness, the feeling is the currency. You must offer the feeling first. Gratitude is the payment you make in advance, and the universe, upon receiving this potent currency of appreciation, has no choice but to shower you with experiences that match the richness of your offering. It is a declaration of trust. It is telling the source of all life, thank you for what is already on its way. Thank you, for I know it is already done. Imagine that your perception is a powerful camera lens. By default, for most of your life, you have had the problem-solving lens attached. This lens is incredibly effective at its job. It scans your life and your environment, expertly finding what is broken, what is missing, what is wrong, what needs to be fixed. When you look at your body through this lens, you see only the flaws. When you look at your relationships, you see only the cracks and disappointments. When you look at your world, you see only the injustice and the chaos. The lens is not lying, those things are there. But it is presenting a very specific, very limited picture of reality. It is a picture that generates feelings of frustration, anxiety, and dissatisfaction low-frequency broadcasts. The practice of gratitude is the conscious, deliberate act of unscrewing that old, worn-out lens. You set it aside with reverence for how it tried to protect you, and you pick up a new one. This is the lens of appreciation. When you attach this new lens to the camera of your awareness, the world transforms. even though nothing external has changed. This lens has a different function. It is designed to magnify beauty, to focus on blessings, to bring the hidden grace of the ordinary into sharp relief. You look at your body again. The critical lens saw only imperfections. The lens of appreciation sees the miracle of your lungs breathing without your command, your heart beating in perfect rhythm, your eyes that can perceive the color of the sky. You look at your relationships. The old lens saw only history and unmet expectations. The new lens magnifies a moment of shared laughter, a kind word, the simple comfort of a shared presence. You look at your world. The old lens saw only headlines of fear. The new lens sees the stranger who held a door open, the resilience of nature pushing through concrete, the undeniable warmth of the sun on your skin. The lens of appreciation does not deny that challenges exist. It simply chooses to focus its power on the evidence of grace. And what you focus on expands. What you appreciate appreciates. The universe watches where you point your camera. When it sees you constantly taking beautiful, loving snapshots of your current reality, celebrating every small gift as a treasure, it can only conclude one thing. This being is a connoisseur of blessings. Let us send more. So how do we embody this? How do we make gratitude more than a mental concept? We bring it into the felt experience of the body. Do not start by trying to feel grateful for the big things you lack. That will only highlight their absence. Start small. Start with what is undeniably, physically real. Right now, bring your awareness to the air entering your nostrils. This air has traveled across oceans and forests to find you, to fill your lungs, to give you life. It asks for nothing in return. Can you feel a flicker of gratitude for this single, effortless breath? Feel it. Let the feeling, however subtle, land in your body. Now, bring your awareness to the chair or the floor that is supporting you. It is holding your weight completely. It is allowing you to be at rest. Can you feel a moment of gratitude for this simple, solid support? Stay with the sensation. Now, think of clean water, the simple miracle of turning on a tap and having clean, life-giving water pour out. Feel the gratitude for that simple, profound luxury. This is the path. You start with the undeniable. You anchor the feeling in your body. From there, you can begin what is sometimes called a rampage of appreciation. You let one grateful thought lead to the next, building momentum, raising your vibration with each one. I am so grateful for this breath, and I am grateful for the body that breathes it. I am grateful for the roof over my head that keeps me safe. I am grateful for the bed I slept in, for the comfort and rest it provided. I am grateful for the taste of my morning coffee. I am grateful for the sound of birds outside my window. You do not need to force it. Let it flow. Let one good feeling connect you to another. You are literally, in real time, turning the dial of your frequency. You are shifting your entire energetic signature from one of need to one of profound, overflowing fullness. You are becoming a vibrational match to the answers to your prayers. The ultimate practice of this art is to find gratitude even for what you have labeled as unwanted. This is the alchemy of the soul. Can you look back at a painful challenge, a difficult breakup, a job loss, and find a seed of gratitude? Not for the pain itself, but for what the pain taught you. Can you be grateful for the strength you discovered you had? For the compassion it opened in your heart? For the way it shattered an old identity and forced you to build a new, more authentic one? When you can genuinely thank your challenges for the gifts of wisdom they brought you, you become invincible. You declare to the universe that nothing can happen to you that you cannot ultimately use for your own growth and expansion. You transform every experience, past and present, into another reason to be grateful, another way to raise your frequency. You become a master alchemist, turning the lead of your life into pure gold. You have now entered this powerful, coherent state of being. The frequency of gratitude is humming through every cell of your body. Your heart is open. your mind is clear. You are broadcasting a powerful, unambiguous signal of wholeness and abundance into the field of infinite potential. The fertile ground of your consciousness, cleared and rested, is now vibrating with the music of appreciation. The universe is leaning in close. It is listening intently. You have its full attention. From this potent, high-vibration state, your creative power is magnified 1,000-fold. The words you speak and the intentions you form are no longer just wishes, they are commands. They are seeds planted in the most fertile soil imaginable. Now that your heart is tuned, it is time to use your voice. It is time to speak worlds into being. You are now an instrument tuned to the frequency of grace. The state of gratitude has become your new home, your vibrational baseline. From this fertile, high-frequency soil of your own being, you are ready to practice the next great art of creation. We now move from the receptive state of appreciation to the active state of declaration. For millennia, the great spiritual traditions of the world have hidden a secret in plain sight, a truth encoded in their most sacred texts, that creation is enacted through sound, through vibration, through the Word. In the beginning was the Word, one scripture says. Another describes a God who brings worlds into being simply by naming them. These are not just charming myths, they are pages from the instruction manual of reality. Every word you utter is a creative act. Every sentence you speak is an incantation, a spell you cast upon the raw, formless energy of the quantum field. You have been a powerful magician your entire life, casting spells constantly, but you have been doing so unconsciously. Today, you awaken to your power. You take up your wand, which is your own voice, and you learn to speak worlds into being. Understand this clearly. Your words are not passive descriptors of the world you see. They are active, vibrational seeds that create the world you will experience tomorrow. Every word has its own unique, energetic signature. The word love vibrates at a high, expansive frequency. The word fear vibrates at a low, contracted frequency. When you speak, you are not merely making noise. You are releasing these precise packets of vibrational information into two very important places. First, you release them into the universal field of consciousness, the great cosmic soup of potential. But more immediately and more powerfully, you release them into the deep, fertile, unquestioning soil of your own subconscious mind. Your subconscious is the loyal servant in the engine room of your reality. It does not judge, it does not reason, it does not have a sense of humor. It simply accepts the commands it is given and works tirelessly, day and night, to orchestrate your reality to match those commands. When you repeatedly say, "I'm always struggling with money," your subconscious mind hears a direct order. It says, the master wishes to experience the reality of struggling with money. Understood. And it will then filter your perception, influence your decisions, and guide your actions to ensure that you continue to have the experience of struggle. It is flawlessly obedient. You have been casting spells of limitation upon yourself for years, and your servant has been faithfully bringing them to life. Let us return to the image of your consciousness as a garden. Your emotional state, your vibration, is the quality of the soil. The gratitude you have cultivated has made this soil rich, dark, and unimaginably fertile. Your words are the seeds you hold in your hand. For most of your life, you have been a careless gardener. You have walked through your garden, scattering seeds without thought. With every complaint, you planted a seed of dissatisfaction. With every worry, you planted a seed of anxiety. With every self-criticism, you planted a seed of unworthiness. You dropped seeds of "I can't," "It's impossible," and "Nothing good ever happens to me." Then, you looked at the garden of your life, overrun with the weeds of lack and the bitter fruits of disappointment, and you wondered how it got that way. You cursed the garden, not realizing you were the one who planted it. The practice of conscious creation is the practice of becoming a mindful gardener. From this day forward, You treat your words as the precious, potent seeds they are. Before you speak, you hold the word in your mind for a moment and you ask a simple question. Is this a seed I wish to cultivate in the garden of my reality? This single question will begin to transform your life. You will start to catch yourself before you complain. You will pause before you verbalize a fear. You will become a guardian at the gates of your own mouth, allowing only the seeds of your desired reality to be planted. Within the vast vocabulary of creation, 2 words hold supreme power. These 2 words are a direct address to the universe, a statement of being that reality itself must bend to accommodate. The words are, I am. These are the 2 most powerful words in human language, for they are the name of the Creator. They are the sound of God defining itself. Whatever you place after the words I am becomes a divine command. For your whole life, you have likely used these sacred words unconsciously and often destructively. I am so tired. I am broke. I am sick of this. I am not good enough. With each of these statements, you have taken the infinite, formless power of I am and attached it to a state of limitation. You have commanded your reality to organize itself around the experience of being tired, broke, and unworthy. It is no wonder that this has been your experience. You have been commanding it to be so. The work now is to seize conscious control of these 2 sacred words. You must now deliberately and courageously place after I am that which you choose to be. At first, this may feel like a lie. If your bank account is empty, saying I am abundant will feel strange. The ego will scream that you are being delusional. Ignore it. You are not describing what is. You are declaring what is to be. You are not reporting on the old reality. You are issuing the blueprint for the new one. You are the architect, giving the order. Plant the seed. I am worthy. I am strong. I am healthy and full of vibrant energy. I am a magnet for joyful opportunities. I am peace. Speak these declarations into the mirror. Whisper them in the quiet of your car. Write them down. Think them in your heart. You are recalibrating your entire being. You are giving your subconscious servant a new set of commands. And it, in its faithful obedience, must now get to work, orchestrating a reality that matches this new, empowering identity. It has no choice. This practice extends to the subtleties of your everyday language. Begin to notice how often you speak of what you don't want. I don't want to be sick. The universe hears sick. I don't want to struggle. The universe hears struggle. The subconscious does not process negatives well. You must state what you do want, what you are calling into being. Instead of, I hope I don't fail this interview, you plant the seed. I am the perfect candidate for this position, and I connect with my interviewers with ease and confidence. Notice the difference in power, in vibration. Go on a verbal diet. For one day, try to fast from all forms of complaint, blame, and negative gossip. Notice how difficult this is at first. Notice how addicted the mind is to planting these seeds of lack. This discipline is not about suppressing yourself. It is about purifying your creative power. You are starving the weeds of your attention and your verbal energy, and you are redirecting all of that potent life force to the flowers and fruits you wish to see grow. You are now in a high state of gratitude, choosing your words with the care of a master gardener. You are speaking your affirmations, your I am declarations, into this fertile soil. This is immensely powerful. But there is one more ingredient required. The most vital one of all. A seed, no matter how perfect, cannot grow in dry soil. It needs water. The word is the seed. The feeling behind the word is the living water that causes it to germinate and burst forth into reality. You can say, I am abundant 1,000 times, but if you say it from a feeling state of desperation and lack, the seed lies dormant. The universe doesn't just hear your words, it feels your conviction. The mind may formulate the command, but it is the heart that energizes it and gives it life. To truly create your new world, your words and your feelings must be in perfect harmony. You must learn to speak the language of the universe itself, which is not a language of the tongue, but a language of pure emotion. You have now become a conscious gardener of your reality. You have enriched the soil of your mind with gratitude, and you are choosing your words with the deliberate care of a master, planting the potent seeds of I am. This is the sacred architecture of creation. But there is a final, vital element we must introduce. For a blueprint, no matter how perfect, cannot build a house on its own. A seed, no matter how pristine, will lie dormant in the most fertile soil if it is not given water. This living water, this divine energy that sparks the seed of thought into manifest reality, is emotion. This is the secret that has been overlooked by so many who seek to change their lives. They repeat affirmations with hollow voices, their minds saying one thing while their hearts feel another. The mind is the architect who draws the blueprint, but the heart is the master builder who provides the power to construct the building. The universe does not respond to your thoughts alone. It responds to the feeling, tone, the vibrational truth of your entire being. Today, you learn its native language. You learn the language of emotion. Let us think of this in terms of energy, the language of physics that underlies all magic. A thought is a specific and refined electrical impulse in the brain. It is a blueprint. It holds the information, the design of the reality you wish to create. But a thought on its own has very little energetic charge. It is like a radio wave with almost no wattage, a faint signal that dissipates almost instantly. An emotion, however, is a much more powerful and pervasive force. The very word tells you its function. Emotion. It is energy in motion. It is a powerful magnetic charge that radiates from your heart center, from your entire body, influencing the field around you. When you combine a thought with an emotion, you are doing something extraordinary. You are taking the informational blueprint of the thought and you are supercharging it with the magnetic, creative power of the emotion. You are imprinting the design onto the energy. A thought charged with emotion becomes a powerful, coherent broadcast that impresses itself upon the quantum field, commanding the formless substance of the universe to coalesce into a matching reality. A thought is the arrow. The emotion is the force of the bow that sends it to its target. Without the feeling, the arrow simply drops at your feet. To make this absolutely clear, let us use our metaphor of the postal service of the universe. Imagine you wish to send a letter to the universe, requesting a new reality. Your I am declaration is the letter itself. It is perfectly written. The address of your desired destination, reality of vibrant health, for example, is written clearly on the envelope. The contents of the letter describe this reality in beautiful detail. You have done the mental work perfectly, but a letter, no matter how elegantly composed, cannot reach its destination without postage. Emotion is the postage stamp. It is the energetic fee required for delivery. The intensity and purity of your feeling determines the value of the stamp. A fleeting, half-hearted feeling of health is a low-value stamp. The letter might get lost or take a very long time to arrive. A deep, sustained, embodied feeling of vibrant well-being held in your body for even 60 seconds is the equivalent of first-class, express, overnight guaranteed postage. The universe receives this letter with its powerful stamp and immediately prioritizes its delivery. Now, here is the most critical aspect of this cosmic postal system. The universe reads the stamp first. The emotional signature on the letter is more important than the words written inside it. If you write a letter that says, "I am prosperous and abundant," but you affix to it a stamp that vibrates with the feeling of, "I am so worried and desperate about my bills," which message do you think is received? The universe feels the raw, honest vibration of the stamp. The desperation in being a flawless matching service. It delivers to you more circumstances that will generate the feeling of desperation. This is why mechanical repetition of affirmations often produces the opposite of what is desired. It highlights the gap between what you are saying and what you are feeling. thereby amplifying the feeling of lack. The universe is not listening to the lie you are telling yourself. It is responding to the truth you are feeling in your body. Your prayer is not what you say with your lips. Your prayer is the feeling you are living in your heart. Therefore, the great work is not to discipline your tongue, but to discipline your heart. The work is to learn to generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled, independent of current circumstances. How is this done? You must move your awareness from your head into your body. The mind thinks, but the body feels. The body is the alchemical vessel where thought is transmuted into feeling, and feeling is transmuted into reality. Let us practice. Take one of your I am statements. Let's use I am peace. Close your eyes. Say the words silently or aloud. Now, instead of analyzing the words, ask your body, what would peace feel like? Where would it live in you? Perhaps it would feel like a warm, honey-like sensation spreading through your chest. Perhaps it would feel like a relaxing of the muscles in your shoulders and jaw. Perhaps it would feel like a quiet, humming stillness behind your eyes. Don't search for it with your mind. Gently invite the sensation of peace to make itself at home in your body. Breathe into that sensation. Allow it to expand with each breath. You are now no longer just thinking about peace. You are embodying it. You are generating the magnetic field of peace, which must, by law, attract peaceful circumstances and repel chaotic ones. You are affixing the correct, high-value stamp to your letter. This is the art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the cornerstone of all conscious creation. Your only task is to identify the feeling that your desire, once realized, would give you. Do you want more money? Why? Trace it back. You likely don't want the paper itself. You want the feeling it would provide. The feeling of freedom, security, ease, relief. That feeling, that is the target. That is the currency. Your work is to practice generating the feeling of freedom or security now, before the money shows up. How would you walk if you felt totally secure? How would you breathe? How would you speak to others? You begin to wear this feeling like a coat. You practice living from the end result. By doing so, you are sending the most powerful signal possible to the universe. You are telling it, not with words, but with the undeniable truth of your being, that you are no longer the person who is waiting for security, but the person who is security. And your world will rearrange itself to confirm that new identity. A powerful question will now arise in the logical mind. It is a fair and important question. How can I possibly feel a reality that does not yet exist? How can I feel wealthy when the evidence of my senses shows me only bills? How can I feel healthy when my body is in pain? The thinking mind, the servant that relies on past data and sensory evidence, cannot do this. It is not designed for it. To feel a future that has not yet been delivered to your senses, you must use a higher faculty. You possess a divine tool, a sacred inner sanctuary, where you can shut the door on the outside world and experience any reality you choose. It is the workshop of God. It is the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the portal through which the unmanifest becomes manifest. This tool, this gift, is your imagination. Your logical mind asks the perfect question, how can I feel a reality that my senses deny? How can I conjure the feeling of wealth when my pockets are empty? The rational mind, the faithful servant that operates on past evidence and external data, is not equipped for this task. To ask it to feel what is not yet physically present is to ask it to violate its own programming. For this great work, you must turn to a higher faculty, a divine power that resides within you. You must enter the sacred workshop of your own being, the one place where you are the absolute and undisputed creator, where the rules of the physical world do not apply. This faculty is your imagination. And we are not speaking of the idle daydreaming of a child. We are speaking of imagination as the sensory system of the soul, the very womb of creation. What you imagine with feeling and persistence is not a fantasy. It is a preview of a coming reality. It is a solid fact in the spiritual dimension, and the physical world, which is but a shadow, has no choice but to eventually conform to it. The great secret to using this power lies in a subtle but profound shift in perspective. Most people imagine of their desires. They see their goal on a mental movie screen, separate from them. They watch a future scene in which they are happy, successful, or loved. They are the audience, looking at a distant image. This act, while pleasant, maintains the state of separation. It affirms the desire as something you want, something you do not yet have. The vibrational signature is one of longing. The creative act, the magic that changes worlds, is to stop imagining of your desire and to begin imagining from it. You are no longer the audience watching the film. You are the star actor living inside the scene. You do not see yourself driving the new car. You feel the leather of the steering wheel under your hands. You smell the newness of the interior. You see the world passing by through the windscreen. You are looking at the world through the eyes of the person you want to be. You are feeling the world from the state of the wish fulfilled. This is the art of creating a memory of the future. Think about the nature of a memory from your past. It is a finished event. You accept it as a fact. When you recall a happy memory, you can easily resurrect the feeling tone of that moment, the joy, the laughter, the sense of peace. You do not question its reality. Your task now is to construct, with the same sense of reality, a memory of an event that has not yet occurred in the three-dimensional world. This is not a long, complicated story. It must be a short, simple, sensory-rich scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. The key word is implies. If you desire marriage, you do not imagine the elaborate wedding. You imagine a simple, profound scene that implies you are already married. Perhaps it is the feeling of a wedding band on your finger as you go about a simple daily task. You focus on the feeling of that ring, its weight, its temperature, its solid presence. You allow the feeling of security and love that this sensation implies to flood your entire being. If you desire financial abundance, you do not imagine a frantic scene of winning the lottery. You imagine a quiet scene that implies you are already wealthy. Perhaps you are looking at your bank statement online, and you feel a wave of profound relief and security wash over you. You feel the tension leave your shoulders. You breathe a deep sigh of peace. The scene is the trigger. The feeling is the goal. You take this short, feeling-rich scene, this future memory, and you rehearse it until it takes on the tones of reality. You practice it until it feels more natural and more real than the reality your senses are currently reporting. And the most potent time to do this is in the state akin to sleep, that drowsy, lucid state just before you drift off at night or just as you awaken in the morning. In this state, the loud, critical, conscious mind is subdued. The drawbridge to the subconscious, the loyal servant, the garden of creation is lowered. This is your moment to plant the seed directly into the most fertile soil. Here is the practice. First, get crystal clear on your desire and construct your short, simple scene that implies its fulfillment. Make it an action you are performing, something rich with sensory detail. Second, as you are lying in your bed, ready for sleep, enter that drowsy, relaxed state. Let go of the day. Breathe deeply. Third, bring your imaginal scene to mind. Do not just watch it, enter it. If your scene is a friend congratulating you, feel their handshake. Hear their voice. Feel the surge of joy and pride in your own chest as you say, "Thank you." Loop this scene. Play it over and over and over again in your mind, like a gentle lullaby. Each time, feel the reality of it more deeply. Pour more and more of the feeling of its truth into it. The goal is to successfully lull yourself to sleep while dwelling within the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are impregnating the vast subconscious mind with your new reality as you drift into the silence. Once you have successfully performed this act in imagination, once you have truly felt the reality of your desire, you must do something that may seem counterintuitive. You must drop it. You must rest. This is the divine Sabbath. A farmer, after planting a seed, does not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. He trusts the process. he rests from his work. Likewise, you must rest in the quiet confidence that the seed has been successfully planted. You go about your day without anxious striving, without looking for signs, without needing external confirmation. You have already experienced the reality of it in the only place that truly matters, your own consciousness. You now allow the world of shadow to catch up. This quiet, confident knowing is a powerful state of being. It is the absence of anxiety. It is faith. You have created the memory in reverse, and now you simply wait for the event to unfold in your life that will create the forward-facing memory of the same event. The entire purpose of this imaginal act is to generate the authentic feeling. The pictures, the sounds, the sensations you conjure in your mind are simply the tools you use to evoke the corresponding emotion in your heart. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is what impresses the subconscious mind and rearranges the atoms of your world. If you can achieve the feeling of your wish fulfilled simply by thinking of it, without a detailed scene, that is equally, if not more, powerful. Find the method that works for you, the one that allows you to feel it real. For when you can feel a state, you have become that state. And the world has no choice but to reflect back to you the truth of who you have become. As you embark on this profound practice, as you begin to live from the end and impress your new reality upon the world, you will almost certainly encounter resistance. An old guard, a powerful gatekeeper within your own mind, will rise up to challenge this new king. It will tell you that this is nonsense, that you are a fool, that you must face reality. This gatekeeper is the sum of all your past conditioning, your fears, and your limitations. It is your ego, and learning to lovingly, firmly, and gracefully handle its final protests is the next great passage in your journey to mastery. You are now practicing the high art of creation. You are stepping into your imagination, closing the door on the world of effects, and living in the feeling of the world you desire. In these sublime moments, you touch the hem of God. You feel the thrill of your wish fulfilled, the peace of a reality remade. And then, as you open your eyes and step back into the world, another voice inevitably arises. It is a whisper at first, then a sneer, then a roar. It says, "Who do you think you are? Look around you. Nothing has changed. This is foolishness. You are lying to yourself." This voice is the great gatekeeper of your old reality. It is the final guardian of your prison. This is the voice of your ego, and its challenge is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are succeeding. It is the tremor in the old foundation just before it gives way. To navigate this crucial stage, you must first understand what the ego truly is. It is not an enemy. It is not a demon residing within you. The ego is a construct. It is the sum total of your past. Every belief you have accepted, every wound you have sustained, every limitation you have internalized, every label you have worn. It is the mask you began crafting in childhood to navigate the world, and you have worn it for so long that you have mistaken it for your face. The ego's prime directive is simple: survival. But its definition of survival is rooted in the past. It believes that the only way to be safe is to keep things exactly as they are. The known, even if it is a known misery, is predictable. The unknown, even if it promises heaven, is a terrifying threat to the ego. Your decision to awaken, to change your consciousness, to imagine a new reality, is a declaration of war on the ego's static kingdom. Your transformation feels like death to the ego, because the old you is dying. The resistance, you feel the doubt, the cynicism, the sudden wave of fear, the urge to sabotage yourself is not a sign of your weakness. It is the ego fighting for its own survival, using the only tools it has to try and protect you by keeping you in the familiar cage. Imagine your ego as a battle-hardened old general. For decades, this general has been in charge of the army of your personality. He has led you through the difficult wars of your past, the battles of childhood, the struggles of adolescence, the heartbreaks and failures of adult life. To survive these campaigns, he developed a set of rigid, defensive strategies. He taught you to be cynical so you wouldn't be disappointed. He taught you to criticize yourself before others could, to keep you humble and safe. He taught you to play small so you wouldn't attract unwanted attention. He taught you to constantly replay past failures so you would never make the same mistake twice. In their time, these strategies may have served a purpose. They helped you endure. This old general, in his own way, has been your fierce protector. He deserves not your scorn, but your respect. But now, you, the true self, the calm, aware consciousness, have awakened. You have realized that the long, bloody war against life is over. You have decided to sign a peace treaty with the universe. You are moving out of a survival-based reality and into a creation-based reality. The war is over, but the old general does not know it. He still stands on the ramparts of your mind, scanning the horizon for threats. When he sees you practicing your imaginal acts, feeling joy and abundance that are not yet justified by external facts, his alarms go off. He believes you are being naive, reckless, and delusional. He begins to shout his old commands, to run his old fear-based programs. Get back in line, prepare for the worst, don't get your hopes up. Remember what happened last time. He is not being malicious. He is trying to save you from what he perceives as a catastrophic threat, using the only tactics he has ever known. Your task, as the new commander of your inner world, is not to engage this old general in battle. To fight your ego is to start a civil war within your own psyche, a war you can never win, because both sides are you. A war against the self is pure self-destruction. The new way, the way of the master, is to approach the old general with compassion and authority. You do not shout back at him. You walk calmly up to him, look him in the eye, and you say, with love and firmness, "General, I honor your long and difficult service. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for getting me this far. But your service is no longer required. The war is over. I am in command now, and we are entering an era of peace and creation. You may now stand down. You may now rest." This is the practice of conscious acknowledgement and disengagement. When the voice of doubt, fear, or self-criticism arises in your mind, your first step is not to fight it. It is to notice it. Acknowledge its presence. Ah, there you are, old friend. Fear, I see you. Hello, doubt. Thank you for your input. In this moment of conscious recognition, you separate yourself from the thought. You are the one who is aware of the fear, therefore you are not the fear itself. The second step is crucial. Do not argue with it. Do not try to reason with the old general. He will always have more ammunition than you. He has a lifetime of evidence from your past to prove his case. To argue with him is to get drawn back onto his battlefield, to play his game by his rules. The third step is to gently pivot. After acknowledging the voice, thank you for sharing, you deliberately and calmly withdraw your attention from it and place your focus back on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You let the general shout his dire warnings from the castle walls, while you calmly walk out of the castle gate and into the beautiful garden of your new reality. You are not banishing him. You are simply no longer taking his orders. You are letting his voice become background noise, while the feeling of your assumption becomes the dominant music of your mind. As you practice this, consistently acknowledging but not engaging, honoring but not obeying, a profound shift occurs. The old general begins to realize that there truly is a new commander in charge. He sees that his alarms go unheeded, that his fearful strategies are no longer being implemented. His voice begins to lose its power. It fades from a commanding roar to a persistent grumble, and eventually to a faint whisper. This is the ego's final bow. It is not a dramatic death scene, but a graceful retirement. It takes its place as a minor advisor, a historical archive, rather than the supreme ruler of your kingdom. The true you, the silent, peaceful, creative awareness, now sits firmly on the throne. But this old general's power, his very existence, was forged in the fires of your past. His greatest weapons are the unhealed wounds you carry, the resentments that still fester, the regrets that anchor you to a lesser version of yourself. Every time you feel the sting of an old betrayal, you are handing the general fresh ammunition. Every time you condemn yourself for a past mistake, you are reinforcing his authority. To truly and permanently establish peace in your inner kingdom, to fully disarm the ego's power to sabotage you, you must go to the source. You must heal the very history that fuels him. This requires the ultimate act of spiritual maturity, the master key that unlocks the final chains of the past. It requires the transformative power of forgiveness. You have stood before the mirror of your own ego, the old general of your past, and you have lovingly retired him from service. His voice is quieter now, his power diminished. But the foundation of his old castle still remains, built from the heavy stones of your personal history. The true source of the ego's power, the ammunition it uses to pull you back into fear and doubt, is the unhealed energy of your past. Every grievance you hold, every person you have not forgiven, every mistake for which you have not forgiven yourself. These are not just memories. They are active, living, energetic anchors that chain you to a low vibrational reality. They are hooks that keep you tethered to the very past you are trying to transcend. You cannot soar into the magnificent future you are imagining if your feet are shackled by the weight of yesterday. To complete the work of liberation, you must perform the ultimate act of spiritual alchemy. You must dissolve these chains. You must learn the pragmatic, self-loving, and profoundly liberating art of forgiveness. Let us begin by demolishing the old, broken definition of forgiveness that has been handed to you. You have been taught that forgiveness is a moral duty, an act of saintly virtue, something you do for the benefit of the person who wronged you. This is a profound misunderstanding that has kept millions in bondage. True forgiveness is not for them, it is for you. It is not about condoning their behavior. It is not about saying, what you did was acceptable. It is not about forgetting the pain or pretending it didn't happen. And it certainly does not mean you must reconcile with them or allow them back into your life. Forgiveness is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate act of strength and self-reclamation. It is the conscious, deliberate decision that you will no longer allow the events of the past to poison your present moment and sabotage your future. It is you, looking at the heavy chains of resentment around your own ankles and deciding, I will carry this no longer. It is the moment you declare that your own peace is more sacred than your attachment to being right about how badly you were wronged. Imagine that holding onto a grudge is like drinking a small vial of poison every morning. You wake up, you think of the person or the situation, you replay the injustice in your mind, and you take a sip. You feel the familiar bitterness spread through you, the heat of anger, the cold ache of betrayal. Your body tenses, your vibration plummets. You are doing this every single day, faithfully repoisoning yourself with the secret, misguided hope that somehow, somewhere, the person who hurt you will drop dead from it. But they are not drinking the poison. They are living their life, completely unaware of or indifferent to the daily ritual of self-harm you are performing in their name. The only person being consumed by the poison is you. It is corrupting your cells, clouding your mind, and draining your creative life force. It is the anchor that keeps you locked in a low-frequency broadcast, attracting more situations to feel bitter and angry about. Forgiveness is the moment you look at the vial of poison in your hand and say, no more. It is the act of pouring that poison onto the ground, watching it seep away, and choosing to drink the clean, life-giving water of your present moment instead. It is you, finally choosing to take the antidote. This path of forgiveness is twofold. We must forgive others, and we must forgive ourselves. Let us first address forgiving others. This is not an external act. You do not need to confront the person or have a conversation. This is a private ritual you perform within the temple of your own heart. Find a quiet moment. Close your eyes. In your mind's eye, imagine the person you have been holding a grievance against standing before you. Allow yourself, perhaps for the last time, to acknowledge the pain. Let the feeling of hurt or anger be there without judgment. See what they did. Acknowledge that it was not right. Then, try to see them from a higher perspective. See them not as a monster, but as a person who was also in pain, a person acting from their own level of ignorance, fear, and unconsciousness. Hurt people hurt people. See that their actions came from their own inner poverty, not from your lack of worth. Now, from your heart, from your true self, you speak the words, silently or aloud. I understand that you acted from your own pain. I am no longer willing to carry the pain of what happened. For my own peace, for my own freedom, I forgive you, and I release you. As you say this, visualize an energetic cord of resentment that has connected your solar plexus to theirs. See yourself taking a sword of light and cutting that cord. Feel the sudden release of energy. Feel your own life force, which was being siphoned off to keep that old story alive, come flooding back into your own body. You are not freeing them. You are freeing yourself. The second path, and often the more difficult one, is forgiving yourself. You carry a heavy bag of regrets, of mistakes you've made, of moments you wish you could do over. You condemn yourself for things you did or said when you were a different person. Here is the truth you must accept. The you who made that mistake does not exist anymore. That person acted from the level of awareness, the level of consciousness, and the amount of pain they were in at that time. Given who they were then, they could not have done differently. You, with the awareness you have now, would not make the same choice. To endlessly condemn that past self is to whip a ghost. It is an act of profound futility. The practice of self-forgiveness is to look back at that younger version of yourself, not with condemnation, but with the same compassion you would offer a struggling child. See that younger you. See their confusion, their fear, their needs. See how they were doing the best they could with the tools and the knowledge they had. And from your present, wiser self, you extend your hand. You say to them, I see you. I understand. You did the best you could. I forgive you. You are released from this judgment forever. Feel the integration as you call that fragmented part of your energy back home to your own heart. With every act of self-forgiveness, you stitch yourself back into wholeness. As you walk this path, as you cut the cords of old resentments and embrace the ghosts of your past with compassion, something miraculous happens. The heavy stones in your backpack dissolve one by one. The unseen chains around your ankles turn to dust. You feel a profound lightness in your being, a sense of inner space you may have never experienced before. The vast energetic real estate in your consciousness that was once occupied by replaying old dramas is now vacant. It is clear. It is silent. It is available. You are no longer being violently pulled backward into the past. You are no longer projecting old fears and grievances into the future. The anchors are gone. For the first time, you are truly free to stand right where you are. And where you are is the only place where life ever truly happens. You are standing, unburdened and fully present, in the infinite creative power of the eternal now. The chains of the past have fallen away. Through the grace of forgiveness, you have reclaimed the vast territories of your own consciousness that were once occupied by old grievances and regrets. You are unburdened. You stand now, not as a product of your history, but as a fresh and clean slate of pure potential. From this newfound freedom, we must now turn our attention to the other great illusion that has held you captive, the illusion of the future. The human mind is a time-traveling machine, constantly escaping the present moment. It flees into the past to ruminate and regret, or it rockets into the future to worry and to wish. And in this constant, frantic travel, it misses the only thing that is ever real. It misses life itself, for the past exists only as a memory trace in your mind, and the future exists only as a projection of that same mind. Neither has any tangible reality. The only time that has ever existed, the only place you have ever been, the only point where your creative power is absolute, is right here, in the eternal, unending, ever-present moment of now. Understand the nature of your mind, the egoic consciousness. It cannot survive in the present moment. The ego is a phantom constructed entirely of time. It needs the past for its identity, its story, its wounds, its achievements, and it needs the future for its promise of salvation or its source of fear. The ego lives in a state of constant becoming, never simply being. Once I achieve this, it says, I will be at peace, or I must worry about that so I can prevent it. It is an endless cycle of striving and anxiety, and its fuel is psychological time. The present moment is a profound threat to the ego. Why? Because when you drop fully into the now, when your attention is no longer feeding the past or the future, the ego begins to dissolve. In the simple, profound stillness of this moment, you will find there are no problems. A problem is a mental construct that requires time. You are either dwelling on a situation that has already happened, or you are projecting a fear onto a situation that has not yet happened. In the now, there is only the situation itself. And in the face of what is, you can either accept it or you can take action. The stress, the problem, the suffering, that is all a product of the mind's addiction to time. To be free is to be present. Imagine your life is an infinitely long and beautiful necklace made of lustrous pearls. Each pearl is a single, perfect moment of now. The entire necklace, stretching infinitely in both directions, is eternity. For most of your life, you have been like a frantic jeweler, never truly seeing the pearl that is currently in your hand. Your attention is fixated on the pearls that have already passed through your fingers. You examine them for flaws. You regret how you handled them. You wish you could have them back to polish them differently. This is living in the past. Or, your gaze is fixed on the pearls that are yet to come down the string. You worry about their quality. You hope they will be more perfect than the current one. You anxiously anticipate their arrival. This is living in the future. In all this, looking backward and forward, you completely miss the beauty, the texture, the unique and unrepeatable perfection of the one pearl you are actually holding. You miss your life. The Great Awakening is the realization that your entire experience of the necklace is contained within the single pearl you hold right now. The master jeweler, the conscious creator, understands this. They give their full, undivided, loving attention to the pearl of this moment. They feel its smoothness. They see its unique luster. They appreciate it for exactly what it is. And by perfecting their relationship with the pearl of the now, they perfect their relationship with life itself. So how do you bring yourself into this state of presence? How do you withdraw your energy from the noisy, time-obsessed mind and anchor it in the peaceful reality of the now? The portals are your senses. Your senses operate only in the present moment. You cannot see yesterday. You can only hear what is happening now. The simplest and most direct path back home to the now is through your body and its sensory gates. Let us try it now. Wherever you are, stop. Ask yourself, what do I see? But do not label it. Do not think that is a lamp, that is a book. Simply allow the raw data of light and color to enter your eyes. Just see. Now, what do you hear? Listen to the entire soundscape around you. Perhaps it is the hum of a machine, the distant sound of traffic, the song of a bird, or even the sound of silence itself. Do not judge the sounds as pleasant or unpleasant, just hear them. Now feel the sensations in your body. Feel the points of contact between your body and the chair or the floor. Feel the subtle sensation of the air on your skin. Feel your clothes against your body. And most importantly, feel the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of your own breath. The breath is your greatest anchor to the now, for you can only ever take this one breath, right now. By placing your attention on these raw, unfiltered sensory inputs, You pull your consciousness out of the abstract labyrinth of thought and ground it firmly in the living reality of the present moment. Another powerful portal is the awareness of your own inner body. Beneath your thoughts and even your surface-level physical sensations, your body is a vibrant field of energy. Close your eyes for a moment. Can you feel the subtle aliveness in your hands, even without moving them? Can you feel the energy pulsating in your feet? Can you feel the life force that animates your entire being from within? This inner body awareness is a powerful anchor. Whenever you feel yourself being pulled into anxiety about the future or regret about the past, bring your attention inward to this field of aliveness. It is always there, and it is always in the now. It is your direct connection to the source of life itself. To be rooted in the feeling of your inner body is to be rooted in presence. Living in the now also means cultivating a state of non-resistance to what is. This does not mean passive resignation. It means you acknowledge the reality of the present moment without arguing with it. If it is raining, it is raining. Arguing with the rain, complaining about it, wishing it were sun-y'all. Of this is a form of insanity, a resistance to what is that only creates suffering. You accept it is raining. From that place of calm acceptance, you can then take intelligent action. You can get an umbrella. You can decide to stay inside. Action that arises from acceptance is powerful and effective. Action that arises from frantic resistance is chaotic and draining. Presence is your power. You meet the moment as it is, and from that stillness, you act. All your creative power, the imaginal acts you perform, the feelings you generate, the declarations you make is accessed and expressed only in the now. You do not feel the wish fulfilled tomorrow. You feel it now. You do not change your vibration in the future. You change it now. The now is the workshop, the altar, the only point of access to the creative power of the universe. When you begin to inhabit the present moment more fully, something extraordinary begins to happen. The frantic, nervous energy of the time-bound ego subsides. You become calmer, more observant. You stop rushing through your life, and you start to notice the subtle details you were blind to before. Your senses become sharper. The world becomes more vibrant. And because the noise of your mind has quieted down, you can begin to hear other, subtler things. You start to notice the meaningful coincidences, the uncanny timing of events. You begin to feel a gentle guidance, an intuitive nudge in a certain direction. You start to see the signs that have always been there, but which were previously obscured by the fog of your thinking. You realize you are not alone in this universe, but are in a constant, silent dialogue with a higher intelligence. You are learning to listen to the whispers of the universe. You are now standing in the quiet clearing of the present moment. The chains of the past are dissolved, the anxieties of the future have receded, and you are rooted in the simple, profound power of the now. As the frantic noise of the thinking mind subsides, your being becomes like a still, clear pool of water. And in this stillness, you begin to perceive things you were once deaf and blind to. You start to notice that you are not, and have never been, alone. You are in a constant, silent dialogue with an intelligent, responsive universe. For too long, you have been the one doing all the talking with your worries, your plans, your demands. Now, in the silence, you learn to listen. You learn to hear the whispers of the universe, the subtle, loving guidance that has always been there, waiting patiently for you to quiet down enough to hear it. This universal intelligence communicates with you not through a booming voice from the clouds, but in a language that is far more intimate and elegant. It speaks to you in three primary ways. The first and most direct is the language of intuition. This is the inner whisper, the quiet knowing that arises from a place deeper than your rational mind. It is the gut feeling, the inexplicable hunch. It is the sudden, gentle urge to take a different route home, which later allows you to avoid a traffic jam. It is the subtle feeling of yes that expands in your chest when you consider a new opportunity, or the quiet, firm no that feels like a closing door. Intuition is not emotional. It is not the loud, frantic voice of fear, which always comes with a story of what might go wrong, nor is it the needy, grasping voice of desire. Intuition is calm, clear, and neutral. It feels like truth. It is your higher self, the part of you that is connected to the whole, giving you a direct, unfiltered piece of guidance. The second language is synchronicity. This is the magical resonance between your inner world and the outer world, the moments that are too meaningful to be mere coincidence. It is thinking of an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, only to have them call you minutes later. It is grappling with a specific question in your mind, and then opening a book to a random page that contains the exact answer. It is seeing the same number sequence, 11, 11, 444, everywhere you look, just when you are in a period of deep transformation. These events are winks from the universe. They are confirmations from the cosmic field, letting you know that it hears you, that it is aware of your thoughts and your journey. They are signs that you are in alignment, that you are on the right path. They are the universe's way of saying, I see you. Keep going. The third language is that of signs and symbols. The universe often speaks in the language of metaphor, using the ordinary world to deliver extraordinary messages. It is the lyrics of a song on the radio that seem to be speaking directly to your heart's dilemma. It is an encounter with a specific animal eagle soaring overhead at a moment you need strength, a spider weaving a web when you need to be patient with your own creative process. These signs are deeply personal. An image or a symbol that is meaningful to you will be used by the universe to get your attention. Your job is not to look up their meaning in a dictionary, but to ask your own heart, what does this mean to me? What is the message here for me, right now? You are co-creating a personal language with the intelligence of life itself. To understand how to perceive this guidance, imagine you are walking on a path through a vast, ancient forest. This forest is the universe. For most of your life, you have been walking through this forest, staring only at your own feet. You are lost in your thoughts, your worries about the path ahead, your regrets about the path behind. You are so preoccupied with the small circle of ground around you that you fail to see the majesty of the forest itself. You feel lost, alone, and without direction. The practice of being present is the act of lifting your head. You stop looking at your feet. You look up and you see the towering trees, the sunlight filtering through the leaves. You hear the bird song. You feel the breeze on your skin. You become aware of the living, breathing intelligence of the forest around you. As you continue to walk with this newfound awareness, you start to notice things. You see a subtle blaze of paint on a tree trunk, left by a wise guide who walked this path before. This is a synchronicity. You notice a uniquely shaped stone on the ground, pointing in a certain direction. This is a sign. You hear the faint, almost imperceptible sound of a distant waterfall, and a deep inner knowing tells you that a source of water is near. This is your intuition. These trail markers have always been there. The guidance has always been present. But you were too lost in the noise of your own mind to perceive them. Now, you are learning to walk through the forest of your life with your head up and your heart open. You are learning to trust the trail markers. The journey, which once felt like a struggle, begins to feel like a graceful guided dance. How do you become more receptive to these whispers? First, you must ask. State your question or your intention to the universe clearly and simply. Universe, please show me the next step. Higher self, please guide me on this decision. Then, and this is the most important part, you must let it go. Release your desperate need for an immediate answer. The universe responds to relaxed expectation, not to anxious, grasping energy. Go about your day, stay present, and pay attention. Second, consider keeping a journal of these moments. Write down the intuitive nudge you followed. the strange synchronicity you observed, the recurring symbol that appeared. Over time, as you review your journal, you will see an undeniable pattern of guidance. You will build a foundation of evidence that will strengthen your trust in this process. Finally, you must practice discernment. Learn the difference in feeling between the quiet, peaceful voice of intuition and the loud, anxious voice of the ego's fear. Intuition feels expansive. Fear feels contracted. Intuition leads to clarity. Fear leads to confusion. Your heart knows the difference. As you begin to recognize this constant stream of loving guidance, you come face to face with a profound realization. You are not a separate, isolated creature fighting for survival in a random, chaotic world. You are an intrinsic part of a vast, benevolent, and deeply intelligent consciousness. Whether you call it God, the universe, life, or your higher self, the name is irrelevant. What matters is the dawning recognition that this intelligence is not separate from you. It is the deeper part of you, and it is actively conspiring for your highest good. Recognizing this guidance system is the first step. The next, and far more courageous step, is to actually trust it. To follow an intuitive hit that defies logic, to change your plans based on a synchronicity that seems too good to be true. This requires a profound letting go. It requires you to release your white-knuckled grip on how you think your life should unfold, and to surrender to the wisdom of a flow that is far greater than your own. You have now awakened to the silent, guiding whispers of the universe. You recognize the trail markers of synchronicity. You feel the gentle nudges of your own intuition. You are aware that you are in a co-creative dance with a loving, intelligent consciousness. The natural tendency of the human ego, upon discovering this, is to try and manage the dance. It wants to control the music, to choreograph every step, to dictate the exact path you will take. And here we arrive at one of the most profound and paradoxical secrets of creation. The more you try to control the details of your journey, the more you interfere with the miraculous and elegant unfolding of your destination. Your greatest act of power is to let go of control. Your ultimate creative statement is one of trust. This is the art of surrendering to the flow, not as an act of giving up, but as an act of giving your desire over to the master choreographer of the cosmos. You must become crystal clear about the division of labor in this creative partnership between you and the universe. Your job, as the architect of your reality, is to focus on the what and the why. Your responsibility is to define the destination. What is the end result you truly desire? What is the feeling of that wish already being fulfilled? Your work is to use the tools we have discussed, to cultivate the feeling of gratitude, to speak your I am declarations, to enter your imagination and live in the end result. You create the vibrational blueprint. You tune your being to the frequency of the reality you choose. This is your sacred and essential contribution. That is where your job ends. The universe's job is to handle the how. The how is the divine province of a wisdom that is infinitely greater than your own. The universe has a vantage point you cannot possibly possess. It sees the entire cosmic tapestry, the intricate web of connections between all people, all places, and all events. It knows the path of least resistance. It can orchestrate a symphony of coincidences, conversations, and opportunities that will lead you to your desire in a way that is more magical, more efficient, and more delightful than anything your small, logical mind could ever conceive. When you try to force the how, when you insist that your desire must come through a specific person, a specific job, a specific set of circumstances, you are shutting down an infinite number of other, potentially better, pathways. You are like a person trying to get to a beautiful island who insists that the only way to get there is in a small rowboat, unaware that the universe has a luxury yacht waiting for them just around the corner. Your insistence on the how is the bottleneck. Your need to control is the only thing that limits the infinite ingenuity of the universe. Think of it this way. When you plant a seed in a garden, your work is in the planting. You choose the seed with care. This is your desire. You prepare the soil. This is your vibrational state of gratitude and receptivity. You plant the seed firmly in the ground. This is your imaginal act, your feeling of the wish fulfilled. And then, what does a wise gardener do? They trust. They have faith in the unseen processes of nature. They know that the intelligence within the seed and the intelligence within the soil know exactly what to do. They trust the sun to provide its warmth and the rain to provide its moisture. A wise gardener does not dig up the seed every day to check on its progress. To do so would be to kill it. They do not stand over the garden shouting at the seed, trying to force it to grow faster. That would be an act of insanity. They rest from their work. They have faith. The anxious, controlling ego, however, is a foolish gardener. It plants the seed and immediately begins to worry. Did I do it right? Is it growing? Why can't I see anything happening? It digs up the seed, examines it for roots, and in doing so, breaks the delicate, nascent connection it was forming with the soil. It tries to control the weather, cursing the clouds for blocking the sun, or trying to bargain with the sky for rain. This constant interference, this nervous, anxious energy, this profound lack of trust sabotages the entire natural process. You must become the wise gardener of your own life. Once you have planted the seed of your desire in the fertile ground of consciousness through your feeling-filled imagination, your primary work is done. Your new job is to trust the divine agriculture of the universe. Your job is to have faith in the unseen process. This does not mean you become passive or lazy. It means you shift from frantic, controlling energy to a state of active, observant trust. You are letting go of the oars and allowing the great, benevolent current of life to carry you. This current is the flow. When you are in the flow, life feels graceful. Things seem to work out. You feel supported. The right people and opportunities appear as if by magic. You feel a sense of ease, even amidst challenges. When you are fighting the flow-bee trying to control, by forcing outcomes, by worrying about the how, life feels like a constant uphill battle. It feels like you are swimming against a powerful current, and it is utterly exhausting. Letting go of control is the simple, profound act of turning around in the river, lying on your back, and allowing this powerful current to carry you effortlessly toward the destination you have already defined. It is the shift from resistance to allowance, from struggle to grace. The practice for this is one of conscious release. After you have finished your creative act of feeling the wish fulfilled, make it a habit to add a simple but powerful addendum. Say to the universe, silently or aloud, "This, or something even better, now manifests for my highest good, and the highest good of all concerned. I release the need to know how, when, or through whom this will come. I trust the process. Thank you." In that moment, you are consciously taking your hands off the wheel. You are surrendering your limited, human timetable and your preconceived notions of how it must unfold. You are opening the door for the universe to delight and surprise you with its infinite creativity. You are moving from being a micromanager to being a trusting partner. When you enter this state of surrendered trust, resting in the flow, you become deeply receptive. You are no longer frantically scanning the horizon for your one specific ship to come in. Your awareness is open, relaxed, and present. And it is from this serene, trusting state that a new kind of impulse to act will arise within you. It will not feel like the anxious striving of the ego trying to make something happen. It will not be a desperate action born of fear or lack. Instead, it will be a calm, clear, joyful impulse. A spontaneous idea that seems to come from nowhere. A sudden urge to call an old friend or visit a certain place. This is the universe tapping you on the shoulder. This is action that arises from the flow itself. This is inspired action, and it is entirely different from the desperate action of the past. You are now floating in the great river of life, resting in the current of the flow. You have surrendered your need to control the how, and you are trusting the infinite intelligence of the universe to arrange the perfect path to your desire. A question naturally arises from this place of surrender. Does this mean I do nothing? Do I simply sit on my hands and wait for my dreams to fall into my lap? The answer is a beautiful paradox. You do nothing, and yet you do everything. You cease all action that is born of fear, and you open yourself to a new quality of action that is born of inspiration. Surrender is not a state of passive vegetation. It is a state of profound, vibrant, alert stillness. And from this stillness, a new way of moving in the world emerges. We must now learn to distinguish between the two fundamental types of action: desperate action, which comes from the ego's lack, and inspired action, which comes from the soul's wholeness. Let us first dissect the energy of desperate action, for it is the mode in which most of the world operates. Desperate action is born of doubt. It is rooted in the ego's core belief that if you do not struggle, strive, and force things to happen, then nothing will happen. It feels heavy, anxious, and frantic. It is the feeling of pushing a massive boulder uphill. It is the endless networking, the cold calling, the forcing of conversations, the constant, restless hustle that the world glorifies, but which leaves your soul feeling depleted and exhausted. When you act from this state, you are acting to get a feeling you lack. You work hard to get a feeling of security. You strive in a relationship to get a feeling of love. Your action is a broadcast of your own emptiness, and because the universe responds to your vibrational broadcast, this type of action often leads to more struggle, more resistance, and more disappointing results. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing the ego's cynical belief that life is hard, and you must fight for every scrap of happiness. Now, consider a different way. Imagine your desire is a beautiful green apple growing on a high branch on the tree of life. The ego, the anxious and impatient gardener, sees this green apple and wants it now. It does not trust the natural process of ripening. So, it engages in desperate action. It frantically climbs the tree, scratching itself on the branches. It finds the apple and yanks on it, pulls it, twists it, struggling to wrench it from the branch that is not yet ready to let it go. If, through sheer force and effort, the ego manages to tear the apple from the tree, what does it have? A fruit that is hard, sour, and deeply unsatisfying. It has the form of what it wanted, but none of the substance, none of the sweetness. This is the result of desperate action. It is premature, effortful, and ultimately unfulfilling. The wise gardener, the conscious creator who trusts the flow, operates differently. They see the green apple on the branch, and they recognize it as their own. They have planted it there with their imagination and feeling, but they do not try to force its growth. They know that the sun, the rain, and the life force of the tree itself are all collaborating in a perfect, intelligent process to ripen the apple. The wise gardener's job is not to climb the tree and struggle. Their job is to tend to the health of the tree itself, which means tending to their own vibrational state. They continue to live in gratitude, to practice forgiveness, to rest in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. They trust the process of ripening. And then, one day, at the perfect moment, when the apple is saturated with sunlight and sweetness, when it has reached the peak of its perfection, it is ready. It now detaches from the branch with the gentlest touch. Sometimes, a soft breeze is all that is needed for it to fall, gracefully and effortlessly, right into the gardener's outstretched hand. This is inspired action. It does not feel like a struggle. It feels easy, natural, and joyful. It feels like the next obvious step. It arrives not with the frantic energy of, I have to, but with the calm, clear, expansive energy of, it feels right to do this. It is the universe presenting you with the ripened fruit of your inner work. So how do you recognize this sweet, ripe apple of inspired action? It has several distinct qualities. First and foremost is the feeling. Inspired action feels light, expansive, and often joyful. There is an absence of anxiety and pressure. It feels less like a task you must do, and more like an impulse you get to follow. Second, It often carries a quality of obviousness or simplicity. A spontaneous idea will pop into your head, perhaps while you're in the shower, or on a walk, or doing something completely unrelated to your desire. The idea will feel so simple and right that you'll wonder, of course, why didn't I think of that before? This is because the idea did not come from your own struggling, logical mind. It was dropped into your awareness from the higher intelligence you are partnered with. Third, inspired action often feels like the path of least resistance. It's the easy phone call, the book you suddenly feel drawn to read, the conversation that flows naturally, the sudden urge to visit a certain place. It does not mean the entire journey will be without challenges, but the impulse to begin the action itself will feel smooth and unopposed. The universe will often deliver these inspirations through the channels of your own unique joys and talents. The guidance you receive will often be to do something you genuinely love to do. If you are an artist, the inspiration may be to paint a specific picture. If you are a writer, it may be to write a certain story. If you love connecting with people, it may be a sudden urge to call a specific friend. Following your authentic joy is one of the most reliable ways of following the guidance of the universe. The universe wants you to be happy, and it will often lead you to your desires through a pathway of joyful expression. Your work, then, is to cultivate the patience and presence to wait for the ripened fruit. It is to trust that the universe is always working on your behalf, arranging the unseen details. You rest in the flow, you maintain your high vibration, and you keep your awareness open and alert. You are not waiting passively. You are waiting actively, like a catcher in a baseball game, knowing the ball is on its way. When the clear, calm, joyful impulse arrives, you act on it without hesitation and without second guessing. You trust the apple that falls into your hand. As you begin to live this way, acting only on these clear and joyful impulses that arise from a state of trust, you will notice a profound change. Your actions are no longer desperate attempts to change an unwanted reality. They become joyful participations in a new reality that you have already fully accepted on an inner level. You are not acting to get a result. You are acting from the result. And as you move through the world in this new way, as the confident, peaceful, and joyful being you have become on the inside, the great mirror of the outer world has no choice but to respond. It must begin to reconfigure its reflection to match the new person who is standing before it. You are now moving through the world with a new quality of grace. You have learned to trust the great river of life, and you are acting not from a place of desperate need, but from a place of calm, joyful inspiration. As you continue to walk this path, you will begin to notice the world changing around you. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty. For you are living in a mirror universe, and the fundamental law of this universe is that the reflection must always, without exception, match the object being reflected. The world you experience is not a solid, objective reality acting upon you. It is a perfect, flawless, energetic mirror of your own dominant state of consciousness. And as you have so diligently worked to change the object, your own being, the reflection, must now begin to change as well. We must speak of the nature of this mirror, for it has one quality that can test the faith of even the most dedicated creator. There is a time lag. The reflection does not always shift in the very instant you do. There is a buffer, a divine delay, between your inner shift and the outer manifestation. This buffer of time is not a flaw in the system, it is a profound gift. If every fleeting negative thought you had instantly materialized, your life would be a maelstrom of chaos. If every moment of anger instantly manifested a corresponding disaster, you would live in constant terror. This delay is an act of grace. It gives you time to stabilize in your new state of being. It allows you to choose which thoughts and feelings you truly want to make permanent. It gives you a space to confirm your new choice before it hardens into fact. You must think of it like placing an order with a master craftsman. Once you have submitted your detailed design, your imaginal act, and you have paid for it with the currency of your feeling, the craftsman begins his work. You do not stand over his shoulder, tapping your foot, demanding to see the finished product a second later. You trust that he is gathering the materials and skillfully assembling your creation. The physical world simply vibrates at a slower, denser frequency than the world of imagination. It takes time for the energy to coalesce, for the events to be arranged, for the reflection to catch up. Imagine, for your entire life, you have been standing in front of a large mirror, and for your entire life, you have had a deep frown on your face, a frown of worry, of lack, of resentment. You have looked at the frowning figure in the mirror, and you have pleaded with it. Please smile. You've begged. You've shouted at the reflection. You've tried to bargain with it. You've even tried to physically manipulate the glass, all in an attempt to force the frowning figure to smile at you. But it never does, because the mirror can only show you what is there. This is the folly of trying to change the world first. It is an impossible, soul-crushing task. The Great Awakening, the entire journey we have taken together, is the moment you realize the truth. The mirror has no power of its own. It is simply reflecting you. If you want the reflection to smile, you must be the one to smile first. The act of changing your inner state of forgiving the past, of cultivating gratitude, of living in the feeling of the wish fulfilledness, the profound, courageous act of your own face, slowly but surely, breaking into a genuine smile. You are no longer frowning. You are now radiating the quiet joy of your new state of being. But here is the moment of the great test. You are smiling, but you look at the mirror, and for a moment a day, a week the reflection, is still the old frown. This is the time lag. In this crucial gap, the ego, the old general, will scream at you. See? It's not working. You are a fool. Stop this ridiculous smiling and go back to the familiar, realistic frown. This is the moment your faith is forged. Your job is not to believe the old reflection. Your job is to hold your new smile. Your job is to persist in your new state of being, regardless of the lagging evidence of your senses. You must trust the law of the mirror more than you trust the temporary illusion of the old reflection. And then, as you hold your smile, as you persist in your assumption, the law must be fulfilled. The reflection begins to shift. It flickers. The edges of the mouth on the frowning figure begin to twitch, and then it finally surrenders to your new reality. The reflection begins to smile back at you. This is the moment your outer world starts to conform to your new consciousness. These first smiles from the mirror are often subtle. They are not always the final, grand manifestation you are imagining. They are the first tender green sprouts pushing up through the soil, confirming that the seed you planted has taken root. It may be a change in the way people respond to you. Strangers seem kinder. Your barista gives you a genuine smile. An old friend who was once difficult suddenly becomes warm and supportive. It may come as small, unexpected windfalls. You find a $20 bill on the street. You receive an unexpected refund or discount. A friend insists on buying you lunch. It may appear as new doors of opportunity opening. You overhear a conversation about a job opening that sounds perfect for you. You get a sudden, brilliant idea for a creative project. You meet a new person who just happens to have the exact skill or connection you need. Your sacred task during this phase is to acknowledge and celebrate every single one of these reflections, no matter how small. Every time the universe smiles back at you, you must smile back at it and say, "Thank you. I see you. I see that it is working." This act of acknowledgement and gratitude amplifies the energy. It is like giving water and sunlight to those first tender sprouts, encouraging them to grow stronger and faster. You are confirming to the universe that you are paying attention, that you are a good receiver of its gifts. You are locking in the new frequency. If, on the other hand, you see the first small sprout and dismiss it as a mere coincidence, or you see the lingering old frown in the mirror and immediately drop your own smile and revert to your old state of being, you abort the process. You have just dug up the seed. Persistence in your new feeling state is the key that unlocks everything. You must be more loyal to your new inner reality than you are to your old outer reality. As the mirror begins to consistently reflect your new smiling self, as the sprouts of your new reality begin to blossom all around you, you enter a new phase of this journey. You are now a gardener whose new seedlings are young and vulnerable. The world is a large and sometimes chaotic place, filled with the energy of other people's broadcasts, many of whom are still tuned to the frequencies of fear, doubt, and complaint. To protect the beautiful new garden you are cultivating, to maintain the high vibration state that is now your most precious asset, you must learn to become a conscious and deliberate guardian of your own energy field. You must learn to build and maintain your own sacred space. The mirror of your world is beginning to smile back at you. The tender green sprouts of your new reality are pushing through the soil, confirming the power of your inner work. You are beginning to live in the tangible evidence of your own transformation. And now, you arrive at a new stage of your journey, a new responsibility. For the beautiful, high vibrational state, you have cultivated this inner feeling of peace, joy, and trusties, now your single most precious asset. It is the fertile ground from which your entire future will grow. And like any precious treasure, like any young and vulnerable garden, it must be protected. This is not a practice of building walls of fear, but of creating a sanctuary of wisdom. You must now become the loving and vigilant guardian of your own sacred space. As you raise your personal frequency, you will find that you become more sensitive to the energy around you. Just as your hearing would seem more acute after leaving a loud concert, your energetic senses become more refined as you move out of the dense static of fear and into the clear frequencies of love and trust. You begin to feel, on a non-verbal level, that every interaction is an exchange of energy. Some people, situations, and information will nourish and uplift you. Being around them feels like standing in the sun. You feel energized, expansive, and more yourself. These are the radiators. Others, however, will feel draining. After an interaction with them, you may feel tired, heavy, anxious, or inexplicably sad. These are the drainers. They are not bad people. They are simply individuals operating from a deep state of lack, fear, or victimhood, and their energy field unconsciously tries to draw upon the life force of those around them to supplement their own. In the past, you may not have noticed this dynamic, but now, as a finely tuned instrument, you will feel the dissonance immediately. Your peace is your barometer. Anything that disturbs it without a clear, intuitive reason is a sign that you are in the presence of a frequency that is not in harmony with your own. To protect your new state, let us return to our image of your consciousness as a beautiful garden. The seeds of your new reality have sprouted. The seedlings of health, abundance, and love are tender and green. For most of your life, the gate to this garden has been left wide open. You allowed anyone and anything to wander in. The trampling feet of other people's negativity and criticism, the choking weeds of a fear-based news cycle, the noisy pests of gossip, complaint, and mindless digital chatter. You wondered why your garden struggled to thrive, not realizing you were allowing it to be trampled and poisoned on a daily basis. Your new practice is to become the calm, loving, and unshakable gatekeeper of this sacred garden. You now stand at the entrance, and you consciously choose what energy you allow to enter your precious space. This does not mean you become a hermit or build a stone wall around your heart. It means you build a beautiful, permeable fence made of conscious choices. Every choice you make throughout your day is another post in this protective fence. When you choose to listen to uplifting music or an inspiring podcast instead of the fearful morning news, you are installing a strong oak post. When you choose to spend an hour in nature instead of an hour scrolling through the curated outrage of social media, you are adding another. When you choose to have a deep, heartfelt conversation with a supportive friend instead of participating in a draining session of gossip and complaint, you are lovingly weaving another protective strand into your fence. This fence is not an act of hostility to the world. It is an act of profound devotion to the new life that is growing within you. So, what are the primary energy drains to be aware of? First, and most powerfully, are people. We all know individuals who are chronic complainers, who see themselves as perpetual victims, or who are cynical and critical of everything. You are not required to be their energetic dumping ground. Your compassion for them does not require you to sacrifice your own peace. The practice here is not necessarily to cut these people out of your life, especially if they are family or longtime friends, but to manage the interaction with wisdom. You can limit your exposure, you can keep conversations shorter, and most importantly, you must learn not to engage with their low-frequency narrative. When they begin to complain, you do not need to add your agreement. You can listen quietly, and then gently pivot the conversation. You can say, "That sounds really challenging. I'm sorry you're going through that. Tell me something good that happened to you this week." Often, this simple act of refusing to feed the negativity will be enough to change the dynamic. If not, you can always excuse yourself with love. "I have to run, but I'm sending you my best." The second great drain is the information you consume. Be honest with yourself. How do you feel after an hour of watching the news or scrolling through social media? Do you feel uplifted, peaceful, and empowered? Or do you feel anxious, angry, inadequate, and afraid? The information you consume is food for your mind. You are choosing to stop eating junk food. This is not about being ignorant of world events. It is about refusing to marinate your consciousness in a broth of fear and conflict. Choose your information sources with the same care you would choose your food. Seek out content that inspires, educates, and uplifts you. Be ruthless in curating your digital feeds. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad. Your peace is more important than being in the know about every manufactured crisis. Third, be mindful of your environments. Some places are filled with discordant, chaotic energy. Others feel serene and harmonious. Pay attention to how you feel in different locations. Whenever possible, choose to spend time in places that nourish your soul. Nature is the great recalibrator. A walk in the woods, by the ocean, or even in a city park can cleanse your energy field and restore your high vibration more effectively than almost anything else. Make your own home a sanctuary. Fill it with things you find beautiful, with music that soothes you, with scents that calm you. Let your home be the charging station for your soul. Finally, becoming the gatekeeper means you must also monitor what is coming from inside the garden. You must watch your own habits of thought and speech. Are you the one trampling your own seedlings with self-criticism? Are you the one planting weeds of worry and complaint? You must apply the same loving discipline to yourself as you do to external influences. Catch yourself when you fall into old, negative patterns, and gently, without judgment, choose a better feeling thought. Every time you choose not to complain, you are honoring your sacred space. Every time you choose a thought of self-appreciation over self-criticism, you are fertilizing your own garden. In this practice, you will have to learn to say no. For many, this is a difficult word, but you must reframe it. Every time you say a loving no to a draining invitation, a negative conversation, or a piece of toxic media, you are shouting a sacred, resounding yes to your own well-being. A no to them is a yes to your peace. It is a yes to your joy. It is a yes to the beautiful future you are so carefully and lovingly creating. It is one of the highest forms of self-love. As you diligently curate your energy and protect this sacred space, something beautiful begins to happen. The noise of the world recedes. The static of other people's opinions and fears fades away. And in the clean, clear, quiet sanctuary you have created for yourself, the true voice of your own soul becomes stronger and clearer than ever before. In this silence, stripped of external noise and the need for validation, you begin to perceive a profound truth about your own nature, a truth that was there all along, that your worth, your light, is not something you have to earn or protect. It is the very essence of what you are. You have become the vigilant and loving guardian of your own inner world. You have built a sacred sanctuary around your consciousness, a space protected from the noise of fear and the static of negativity. Within this clear, quiet, and protected space, a profound revelation can finally dawn. With the clamor of the outside world turned down and the frantic voice of the ego quieted, you can begin to perceive the deepest and most damaging lie that humanity has ever told itself. It is a lie that has fueled empires, sparked wars, and driven billions of souls into a lifetime of desperate, unfulfilling striving. It is the root of all suffering. It is the belief that you are not worthy. It is the subtle, pervasive feeling that you must do something, achieve something, prove something, or acquire something in order to earn your right to happiness, to abundance, to love. Today, in the silence of your own sacred space, we gently but firmly dismantle this great illusion. We come to understand the truth. You do not need to do anything to be worthy. You already are the light. Think of this deep-seated feeling of unworthiness as a kind of cosmic orphan syndrome. Through the illusion of the ego, you have come to feel separate from your source. You feel like a small, isolated fragment in a vast, indifferent universe. From this perspective of separation, you look out at the world and you immediately begin to compare and compete. You see others who seem to have more talent, more beauty, more intelligence, more wealth. And the ego, in its state of perpetual lack, draws the only conclusion it can: I am not enough. This belief becomes the central operating system of your life. It is the hidden motivation behind your relentless drive for success, your desperate need for validation from others, your constant fear of failure and criticism. You are like a child who believes they have been abandoned, and so you spend your entire life performing, achieving, and accumulating, all in a desperate attempt to prove your value to the parents you believe have left you. It is a painful, exhausting, and ultimately futile quest, because it is based on a false premise. You were never abandoned. You were never separate. You were never, ever unworthy. Consider the sun in the sky. Does the sun need to pass an exam to be worthy of shining? Does it need to achieve a certain sales target or gain a certain number of followers on social media before it is allowed to radiate its warmth and light? The question itself is absurd. The sun shines simply because it is the sun. Shining is its innate, unchangeable nature. It does not try to shine, it simply is light. Now, understand this, and let it sink into the deepest part of your being. You, in your true essence, are no different. You are not a flawed, struggling human trying to reach for a distant, divine light. You are a unique expression of that divine light, experiencing itself in human form. Your existence is your proof of your worthiness. The very life force that animates your body, the consciousness that is looking through your eyes right now, is the same intelligence that shines the sun and grows the mighty oak tree. It does not make mistakes. Your being here, now, is your divine permission slip to receive all the good the universe has to offer. Therefore, the great spiritual work is not a work of addition, but a work of subtraction. You are not trying to build a new worthy self on top of your old unworthy one. You are not trying to add layers of achievement or goodness to make yourself acceptable. Your work is to gently and patiently dismantle and remove all the false layers of belief that have obscured the radiant, infinitely worthy being that has been there all along. You are not an aspiring statue. You are the masterpiece that is already complete, and your job is to simply chip away the pieces of stone, the false beliefs, the negative conditioning, the inherited traumas that have hidden your perfect form from your own view. You are not becoming worthy. You are simply returning to the remembrance of the worthiness that has never, for one single moment, left you. When you operate from the lie of unworthiness, you create a transactional relationship with the universe. You believe you must bargain for your good. If I suffer enough, you think, then I will have earned my happiness. If I am a good person and sacrifice my own needs, then the universe will reward me. If I work harder than everyone else, then I will deserve success. This is the paradigm of a child trying to earn the love of a judgmental parent. But the universe is not a judgmental parent. It is an impersonal, impartial mirror. It does not give you what you deserve based on a moral scorecard. It gives you, without fail, what you are a vibrational match to. As long as you feel unworthy on the inside, you are a vibrational match to experiences that will confirm your unworthiness. You will attract situations that make you feel small, overlooked, and not good enough, because that is the signal you are broadcasting. When you accept your own innate, unconditional worthiness, you step out of this painful transactional game entirely. You are no longer a beggar pleading with the cosmos for scraps of joy. You become a sovereign being, standing in the truth of your own light, and knowing that abundance, love, and peace are your birthright. They are the natural conditions of a universe that is itself an expression of infinite abundance and love. You no longer hope that you are worthy of your desires. You know that your desires are the universe's own impulses seeking to express themselves through you, because you are a worthy and capable channel for them. The practice for this is one of profound simplicity. It is the practice of simply being. Find moments in your day to sit in silence, and instead of affirming what you want to be, simply affirm that you are. Rest in the simple, powerful, unadorned feeling of I am. Feel into the aliveness of your own presence. This I amness is whole. It is complete. It needs nothing added to it to make it worthy. It is the signature of God in you. By resting in this state, you are bypassing the ego's need to do and prove, and you are aligning yourself with the unshakable truth of your own eternal inherent value. As this realization takes root in your heart, a great liberation occurs. You no longer need the world to validate you. You no longer need praise to feel good or fear criticism to feel bad. Your sense of self is no longer a fragile thing, dependent on the shifting winds of external circumstances. It becomes anchored in the bedrock of your own being. This newfound detachment does not mean you become cold or uncaring. On the contrary, it allows you to engage with life more fully and joyfully. You are no longer a desperate actor on the stage, trying to win the audience's approval. You are now free to become the calm, curious, and compassionate observer, watching the divine play of life unfold with a sense of wonder and peace. You become the silent watcher on the hill, and from this high vantage point, you see everything with a new and profound clarity. You have created a sanctuary for your soul, and within its quiet walls, you have come to know your own unconditional, inherent worthiness. Your sense of self is no longer a fragile boat tossed on the waves of external validation, but a deep and immovable anchor in the bedrock of your own being. From this place of profound self-acceptance and inner security, you are now free to access a new and liberating state of consciousness. You are ready to move from being a character lost in the drama of life to becoming the calm and compassionate witness of it all. You are ready to awaken the silent observer within. This is not a new self you must build, but the real you that has been patiently waiting beneath the layers of personality your entire life. It is the perspective of the mountaintop, from which you can see the entire valley below with clarity and peace. To understand this state, you must first recognize that you have two distinct modes of being. The first is the doer. This is your personality, the ego self that engages with the world. The doer is the one who talks, works, plans, laughs, and cries. It has a name, a history, and a set of roles it plays. Parent, child, employee, friend. The doer is the character on the stage of life, and it is a necessary and beautiful part of your human experience. The second mode of being is the seer. This is the silent, formless awareness that is conscious of the doer. The seer is the space in which all of the doer's thoughts, feelings, and actions arise and pass away. It does not participate, it does not judge, It simply, effortlessly witnesses. For most of your life, you have been exclusively identified with the doer. You believed you were your thoughts, you were your emotions, you were your story. The great spiritual journey is not about destroying the doer, but about awakening to and shifting your primary identification to the seer. It is the realization that you are not the character, but the silent awareness that is watching the character. Let us use the metaphor of the stage. For most of your life, you have been an actor who is completely lost in their role. You have forgotten that you are in a play. You believe you are Hamlet or Ophelia. When the script calls for your character to be betrayed, you feel the full, crushing weight of real betrayal. When your character fails, you feel the shame of real failure. You are so immersed in the drama, so identified with the role, that you are at the complete mercy of the script's twists and turns. Your peace and happiness are entirely dependent on the events of the play. The awakening of the observer is the moment you, the actor on stage, suddenly become aware of something extraordinary. While you are still speaking your lines and performing your actions, you realize that you are also, simultaneously, sitting in the front row of the audience, watching yourself. You have developed a dual awareness. You are both the actor and the audience. As the actor, you continue to play your part with passion and authenticity. You still laugh in the joyful scenes and weep in the tragic ones. You engage with the other characters. But as the silent member of the audience, you never forget that it is a play. You watch the drama unfold with a sense of compassionate detachment. You can appreciate the beauty of a tragic scene without being personally destroyed by it. You can celebrate a triumphant moment without your entire identity becoming dependent on that victory. This dual perspective is the key to profound freedom. It allows you to be fully in the world, to participate in the dance of life with all your heart, but to never again be of the world, to never again be lost in the illusion. How then do you cultivate this state of the silent watcher? It begins with the simple, gentle practice of self-observation. You start to watch yourself as you move through your day, as if you were a curious and kind-hearted scientist studying a fascinating subject. You start with your thoughts. Instead of being lost in a stream of thinking, you inwardly take a step back and state, I am aware that I am thinking about my finances, or simply, thinking is happening. This simple prefix, I am aware that, creates the crucial space between the thinker and the thought. You are no longer the thought. You are the awareness of the thought. Then, you begin to watch your emotional reactions. Someone says something that would normally trigger your anger. Instead of instantly being consumed by the anger, you observe the entire process as it happens. You watch the thought of indignation arise. You feel the sensation of heat flush through your chest and face. You notice the tensing of your muscles. You observe the urge to lash out with a sharp word. You simply watch this entire mechanical reaction unfold within you, without judgment, and without necessarily obeying its command to act. You are watching the inner weather pattern without becoming the storm. In this non-judgmental observation, the reactive pattern loses its compulsive, unconscious power over you. You are no longer its slave, you are its witness. Another powerful way to access the observer is to pay attention to the spaces between things. Notice the brief pause of silence at the end of your exhale, just before you inhale again. Listen for the silence that exists between the notes of a piece of music. Look for the space between two thoughts. In these gaps, in these moments of stillness, the frantic activity of the doer ceases, and the serene presence of the seer, the silent watcher, can be felt more distinctly. It is a feeling of pure, peaceful, aware presence. It is your true home. As you practice this more and more, you will find that this observer consciousness begins to stabilize. It is no longer just a fleeting experience during meditation, but a constant, quiet background to your entire life. You are living with a part of your awareness, always anchored in this place of deep stillness and peace. This state has certain unmistakable qualities. It is calm, even when the world around you is chaotic. It is clear, allowing you to see situations without the distortion of your own emotional reactions. It is deeply compassionate, for as you watch your own human struggles without judgment, you naturally extend that same compassionate understanding to everyone else. And it is timeless, for the silent watcher exists only in the eternal, now, untouched by the past or the future. As you abide more and more in this serene state of the silent observer, your perspective on reality begins to undergo a final, profound, and radical shift. You are watching your own mind, your emotions, the story of your life. You are also watching the world around you, other people, the movement of nature, the unfolding of global events, and you begin to notice something extraordinary. You realize that the very same silent, formless, witnessing consciousness that is looking out through your eyes is the exact same consciousness that is looking out through the eyes of every other person. It is the same intelligence that animates the tree and shines the star. The seer in you is the seer in all things. The perceived separation between the observer and the observed begins to dissolve. You are not just a single audience member watching the play. You begin to realize that you are the vast, silent awareness in which the entire play, the actors, the audience, the stage, and the theater itself is taking place. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a single drop. This is the gateway to the ultimate realization. You are the universe, observing itself. For many days now, you have been cultivating the silent observer. You have learned to sit by the river of your thoughts and feelings, watching them flow by without being swept away. You have created a space between yourself and the drama of the mind, a sanctuary of quiet awareness. From this sacred vantage point, you have seen the ego rise and fall. You have watched old wounds heal, and you have felt the gentle hum of a deeper reality. Now, from this place of stillness, we take the final, most profound step. We turn the gaze of the observer back upon itself. We ask the ultimate question: who is it that is watching? The answer to this question is the key that unlocks the final gate of this journey. The sages and mystics of every tradition have tried to describe this truth, using different words, different metaphors, but all pointing to the same moon. And the truth is this: the separation you feel between yourself and the universe is the grandest illusion of all. You are not a lonely creature living in the world. You are the world, living as a temporary creature. The consciousness that peers out from behind your eyes, the silent intelligence that hears these words and understands them, is the very same consciousness that dreamt the galaxies into being, that unfurls the fern, and that guides the planets in their silent orbits. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, contained within a single drop. Let this sink in, not as a poetic idea, but as a fundamental reality. Imagine a single drop of water held in the light. It has boundaries, a surface tension that gives it a distinct form. It seems separate. It has its own brief existence. But what is it made of? Its essence, its chemical structure, its very nature is identical to the vast, boundless ocean from which it came and to which it will return. It is not like the ocean. It is the ocean, experiencing itself in a localized form. Your body, your name, your history, your personality. These are your surface tension. They give you the beautiful, temporary illusion of being a separate drop. But the consciousness within, the pure awareness that says I am, is the ocean itself. This journey of 21 days has been a process of purifying the water in your drop, of making it so clear that you can see the infinite ocean that you truly are. Consider another image, a wave rising from the sea. It has a beginning and an end. It has a unique shape and character. A surfer can ride this specific wave. The wave might even perceive itself as a singular entity, traveling across the surface of the great water. But is it ever separate? For even a single moment? Number. Its very substance is the ocean. It is simply the ocean rising up to express itself in a particular way for a short time before returning to the whole. so it is with you. You are a unique, beautiful, unrepeatable wave of the universal consciousness. You have a name, a form, a story, but your essence, the very stuff you are made of, is God, is the universe, is the source. You are a way that the universe is getting to know itself. You are the cosmos made conscious, looking out at its own creation with wonder. When you truly begin to feel this, the entire paradigm of manifestation and creation shifts on its axis. You cease to be a small being trying to attract things from a big universe out there. The idea of attraction itself becomes obsolete. You cannot attract what you already are. You cannot pull toward you something that is already contained within you. Instead, creation becomes an act of recognition and allowance. It is the ocean of you, deciding to express itself as a new wave. The desire for abundance is the ocean of abundance within you, wanting to express itself. The desire for love is the ocean of love within you, seeking to take form. Your work is not to get love, but to remove the inner barriers, the dams of unworthy beliefs, the rocks of past hurts that are preventing the wave of love from rising naturally from the depths of your own being. You are not asking for a favor. You are giving yourself permission. This is the ultimate secret. The I that you have thought of as you, the small, striving ego, is the wave. But the deeper I am within you is the ocean. When you align with this deeper self, you are no longer operating from a place of lack or separation. You are operating from a place of infinite potentiality. All things are already present within you as possibilities, just as all future waves are present as potential within the stillness of the sea. By choosing a feeling, by embodying a state, you are calling forth a reality that already exists within the quantum field of your own consciousness. You are not creating something from nothing. You are selecting a reality from an infinite menu of possibilities that are all contained within your own vast, divine mind. So feel into this now. Feel the consciousness in your hands and feet. That is the universe. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath. That is the universe. Feel the silent awareness that is simply here, witnessing this moment. That is the universe. You are not separate from it. You have never been separate from it. You have only been dreaming that you were. And this 21-day journey has been a gentle, loving alarm clock designed to help you awaken from that dream. When you look at another person, you are seeing another drop of the same ocean. When you look at a tree, you are seeing the ocean express itself as a tree. When you look at the stars, you are the ocean gazing back at its own shimmering, diamond-like thoughts. Everything is a self-portrait. Everything is a mirror. When you finally, truly understand this, the very concept of a miracle begins to transform. It ceases to be an external event that defies the laws of nature and becomes something else entirely. It becomes a natural expression of your own true, unveiled self. We stand now at the culmination of our 21 days together, at the very peak of the mountain we have climbed. From this vantage point, having realized your true nature as the universe experiencing itself, the world below looks entirely different. And the concept that first brought you here, that alluring and mysterious word, miracle, begins to shimmer and change its form. From the boundless perspective of the ocean, what is a miracle? From the standpoint of universal consciousness, can anything truly be a miracle when all things are simply its own unfolding expression? You came to this journey seeking a miracle, and the final secret is this: the journey itself was the miracle. The transformation within you is the only miracle that has ever truly mattered. Perhaps you began on day one with a specific desire held firmly in your mind: a sum of money, a restored relationship, a physical healing, a new opportunity. You saw the miracle as an external event, a destination to be reached, a prize to be won. There is no shame in this. It is the human way. But look at yourself now. Feel into the person you are in this very moment, compared to the person who first pressed play. The true change has not been in your circumstances, not yet. The true change has been in you. The miracle is not what you might get at the end of this. The miracle is who you have become along the way. Consider the caterpillar. It lives its life crawling on a leaf, believing that the world is only what it can see from the ground. It feels an inner calling, an inexplicable urge to stop, to find a branch, and to begin the great work. It spins a chrysalis around itself, a safe container for the transformation to come. This has been your 21 days. You have built a chrysalis of stillness, of intention, of quiet observation around yourself, sealing yourself off from the noise of the old world. Inside that chrysalis, a terrifying and magical process occurs. The caterpillar does not simply grow wings, it dissolves. It completely lets go of its old form, melting into a nutrient-rich, primordial soup. It becomes nothing, so that it can become everything anew. That dissolution was your process of letting go. It was the forgiveness that broke the chains of the past. It was the surrender of the ego. It was the uncomfortable moments of doubt and emptiness. You had to let go of the caterpillar self completely. And then, from that surrendered state, something new began to form. The imaginal cells, the seeds of the butterfly, began to cluster and grow, building a new body, a new reality from the raw material of the old. These were your moments of gratitude, your acts of feeling from the wish fulfilled, your declarations of I am. And now, the process is complete. The being inside the chrysalis is no longer a caterpillar with wings attached. It is an entirely new creature. Its very nature has been rewritten. The miracle was not the wings. The miracle was the dissolution and the reformation. The miracle was the courage to enter the chrysalis in the first place. You did not come here to get wings. You came here to become a being who flies. Flying is now your nature, and so it is with your desires. You did not come here to get abundance. You came here to dissolve the consciousness of lack and become a being whose very nature is abundance. You did not come here to find love. You came here to dissolve the feelings of separation and become a being whose natural state is love. The things you once craved are no longer desperate needs. They are now simply natural expressions of the new person you have become. A butterfly flies not because it has to, but because it is what it is. You will create and experience love and joy, not because you have to prove anything, but because it is now simply what you are. This is the ultimate gift. The true miracle is the unshakable peace that has taken root in your heart. It is the quiet confidence that has replaced the frantic anxiety. It is the feeling of wholeness that does not depend on a bank balance or another person's approval. This inner state is the real treasure. It is the only thing that is truly yours, the only thing that cannot be given and cannot be taken away. All the beautiful things that will now begin to effortlessly arrange themselves in your outer world are but a reflection, a celebration, a bonus round confirming the victory that has already been won within you. You were looking for a sign, but you have become the sign. You were waiting for a change, but you have become the change. So release now the last remnants of the seeking spirit. The search is over. You have arrived. You have done the work. You have sat in the silence. You have faced the shadows. You have dissolved the old you. You have emerged, rewritten. The 21 days are complete. The chrysalis is now open. The journey of transformation is finished. And the journey of living, of flying, of simply being the miracle that is just beginning. Chắc chắn rồi. Đây là phần kết luận chi tiết được viết bằng tiếng Anh theo đúng yêu cầu của bạn để hoàn thành kịch bản. And so, with the soft light of a new dawn on your wings, you emerge, not into a world that has changed, but with the eyes to see the world as it truly is, a magnificent reflection of the consciousness that perceives it. The journey we took together through these 21 days was not about learning a secret. It was about unlearning a lifetime of falsehoods. It was a sacred process of remembering a truth that has always been waiting patiently in the quietest chamber of your heart. You began this path, perhaps looking for a key, believing that the happiness and peace you desired were locked away behind some distant door. You searched through the corridors of your mind, through the past and the future, hoping to find it. But the final, beautiful truth is this: there was never a lock. The door was always open. You were simply standing with your back to it, looking for a key that does not exist. The turning around, the shifting of your perception from the outside to the inside, that was everything. The miracle you sought was the turning itself. These 21 days were not the destination. They were the sanctuary where you could learn to turn around. They were the quiet space where you could remember your own power. Now, the true journey begins. It is the journey of living this truth every day. It is the practice of walking through the open door and into the life that has always been waiting for you. The world may still present its challenges, the winds may still blow, but you will now meet them from an entirely new center of being. You will meet them not as a seeker, but as a knower, not as a victim, but as a creator. Carry this feeling with you now. Let it be the silent music that plays beneath the noise of your day. There is nothing more you need to learn, and nothing more you need to do to earn your place. You are here. You are whole. You are ready. Remember this as you go forth. Let it be the first thought in the morning and the last whisper at night. The door is now open. I am the key. Go gently. Trust the profound peace you feel right now. It is the most real thing about you. It is your home, and you can return to it with every single breath. Be still and be well.